important thing is, no, at no point was I ever going to meet with a 13-year-old boy. Absolutely insane that I even have to say those words out loud.
Okay, so I've seen coverage naturally from a streamer known as Chudlogic. He used to be.
Wait, what? Dude, I feel like I know I've played this twice already, but dude, this is so dishonest. It's wretched. Bro, he's lying. He's literally lying about what he's done. He's lying. He's a liar. He's a wretched little liar. Dude, this is a lie. He's lying. Okay, guys, let's get into this. So this is the exclusive interview that Gamin4Hope did with a 357 sub channel. So let's get into it and see what he's got to say for himself.
What's up, gaggers? Before getting into the interview portion, I just wanted to start this video by saying that I have also released a video on my 3 main criticisms of Gamin4Hope. Each one was mentioned in this interview, and with those responses, I was able to glean more into how he feels about certain things he's done in the past.
Why you guys stop being mean? You guys need to fucking chill out a little bit, okay? Can you just relax and stop being so mean? God, you guys are fucking out of control. I can't believe my chat is being so mean. I don't believe it.
As well as how he plans to move forward. In the description down below, I have Gamin4Hope's socials so you can follow him on his various platforms, and I've also included the link to my aforementioned video. Throughout the interview, Gamin4Hope was
anyone up gagging on their shit?
Nothing but kind and respectful to me, and I just wanted to say that I'm appreciative of that. When I asked if he'd do an interview, I explicitly let him know my video would skew negatively, yet he accepted anyway.
Any gaggers in chat? Any gaggers in chat? Put your hand up if you're a gagger.
I'd like to thank Gamin4Hope publicly for coming on the channel. A brief note I need to make is that later on in the video, I have spliced in an editor's note that goes over him saying he will donate to make up for my outrageous generosity criticism. You'll understand this point more if you watch my video and when you get to that question in this interview, but when I was reviewing his use of the outrageous generosity tag after the interview, I found it didn't just span from April 2022 to July 2022. It actually lasted into September of 2022.
Wait, what is the outrageous generosity tag? What is that?
22, at least as far as I know. What he decides to do with that information is on him, but for now I'll end this bit off by saying I would appreciate it if you'd like, comment, and subscribe, and I hope you enjoy the interview. If you want, we can get right into it. Is that cool?
Yeah, go for it. Yeah, and however you choose to. So the way.
Dude, he's in his car. Bro, what is the explanation? About an hour before the interview, Gamin4Hope's power went out because of thunderstorms in his area. That is why his camera and audio quality isn't how it typically is on his stream. So, he's in his car, he's got his massive fucking expensive setup, but unfortunately, because of a power outage, he's got to sit in his car on a shoddy fucking phone camera. Oh dear, man. Calamitous issues.
The way that I'm looking at this, and you can put this in there or whatever. The way I'm looking at this whole interview, it's your content.
Anyway, guys, you go subscribe to this guy, okay? Come on, let's give this guy a boost. He's got the fucking exclusive interview. He deserves a little boost. Come on. Come on, guys. Be fair. Be fair, guys. Be fair. Come on. Let's show people that React content isn't all that bad after all, okay?
I'm just here to help you in any way that I can, answering questions. We'll get into this in more nuance in a minute, but the way that I look at this kind of stuff is people will think about you if they want to think about you.
I am a proud gagger, ladies and gentlemen.
And there's very little you can do to change it. You can jump in front of things, which is, again, we'll get into that. And there's some value in that, but generally speaking, there's very little you can do to convince people to like you. So I'm not as concerned about how you creatively put this together, because if I know you're not doing this out of bad intent, and if other people choose to see how you edited the video that way or whatever, because I've created content for 7 years, it's like I know what people do and what they read into too much. So but yeah, go ahead and jump right in, man. Whenever you're ready, I'm ready to fire it up and ready to rock and roll. And I'll just roll with whatever follow-up questions you have, even if they weren't on the list. It doesn't matter. The only reason I wanted the list was just to get
it. See, this is the thing with this guy is, if there's any unironic hate for this guy, I am against it, okay? Yes, I've mocked him. Yes, I've mocked his family. Yes, I've mocked his granny, okay? But he is not... Like, there's the Ebgging stuff, which is worthy of criticism, and probably some other stuff that's worthy of criticism. But I don't think he's like an evil guy. I don't think he's like a bad guy. Do you know what I mean? He's just, unfortunately, very funny to laugh at. But I don't think he's like an evil individual or something. And he's being quite gracious to this small YouTuber, even though I think there's a benefit to him if this going out on a small channel.
A general gauge of like where we were going and what kind of your thoughts were and what you were going to want to talk about, so I had my mind in the right headspace. That was pretty much it.
Yeah, sounds good. And I know a lot of them are skewed negatively. So again, if you want to skip anything, that's fine.
Yeah.
A random question I thought of recently before getting in this call that I didn't send to you. I also play Overwatch. I'm unfortunately a Mercy one trick. Okay, I'm one of them. Okay.
Oh,
Yeah. I know. It's bad. It's trash. That's why. If you look at the questions I sent you, there's no questions about Overwatch because, you know, I'm not a good player. Okay. But anyway, I just wanted to ask, how do you feel about the Nerf Reinhardt movement?
Oh gosh, I don't even know if I know what that is. Oddly enough, does he really need nerfs?
Okay, he's doing his best, guys. That laugh was a bit cringe, but it's okay. We're not being too harsh. Guys, come on, he's a tiny YouTuber. Come on, relax. Relax, guys. Relax.
See, it's a movement I'm starting. As a Mercy player, I fly around, and sometimes he pulls me from quite a far distance whenever he's sliding into me. And also, whenever he hammers down, I'll be flying, and then I get hit with it. Do you think he needs nerf now? Did I convince you?
I can honestly say Reinhardt needs more buffs than nerfs, so I don't know.
Okay.
Maybe specific to Mercy, there could be an engagement change, but I don't know.
All right. Okay, so getting to the first questions that
Okay, so that didn't really pan out, did it? That was like a meme question about Overwatch, but unfortunately it didn't really pan out. Dude, this is epic. This is epic content.
I have for you. Will a series like...
Yeah, exactly, dude. Yes, dude. You guys are so harsh. I could find a one-sub YouTuber that's doing his best, and you guys would fucking go at him, you know? I do think he's making, in that case, somewhat... Well, the rapport building worked, but it just fell a bit flat because he didn't understand what he was trying to say, right? But the rapport was built off of the back of that, so that was good, okay? Like, for the, you know, someone his size, channel size, he's doing a decent job of this.
Like the journey to becoming a professional Overwatch 2 player ever happen again? In other words, a series of short-form content that spans multiple days to even years.
That's a great question. I think that I've thought about this a lot, especially with all the stuff coming up lately and a lot of the hatred spiking and that kind of stuff. I really think that I love the idea of the series because the series itself is unique. But
not every idea that's unique is a good one, okay? Like, dude. The reason it's unique is because it's so absurd to be past the average age of an esports player and trying to go pro when your technical abilities, your game sense and everything means you're hard stuck platinum. It's too much, man. It's too much.
This series like it, possibly 100%. I would never rule it out completely, but I have more recently decided that my original goal was to compete in the what was originally actually when I started this was the Overwatch League, and then rest in peace, it fell apart. And then when the OWCS emerged, I just shifted my verbiage to incorporate it into that. And my goal the whole time was to compete in 2026. I started in 2023. And I have realized that for a whole multitude of reasons, the tier one, whether that's Overwatch League or OWCS, I think that echelon of play was a wonderful goal, but I have failed to achieve it, and I'm comfortable with that. I don't mind failure. Failure is just a byproduct of learning. And
I mean, it's difficult because I do think it's respectable to recognize that was a fucking non-starter and give it up. And I do think it's right to like, just try and be a content creator, say, off the back of it or whatever. But he is still trying to focus on achieving what I think is his unachievable goal, becoming a top 500 tank player. Or was it top 50? But the problem is he's like put so much of himself into it. Like he's made it his whole shtick. So it just becomes another strand of mockery for him. You know, it's like you kind of can't put the toothpaste back in the tube, but you've done hundreds of shorts about your, you know, pathway to Overwatch Pro, and now it's just completely fallen by the wayside. Whereas it should have been like, you know, oh, that would have been kind of cool to do that, but I'm probably too old now, and that's the end of it, you know? I mean, it's funny, like, watching his recent streams, where he's trying to get out of, you know, he's saying he's Diamond to Masters, and he's, like, struggling at the top end of Platinum, going into Diamond, then coming out of it. It's like... It's okay to fucking suck at a game. What does it matter? It's a fucking video game in the grand scheme of things. But it's the fact he puts so much into it. He's put so much into this. Like, he's literally structured his life at points around the idea of becoming an Overwatch Pro. And it's like just completely fucking failed. No. But look, listen, I do think credit for recognizing it's a non-starter and moving away from that. I think that's only going to benefit him and his channel.
And I definitely don't see me pushing towards a tier 1 esport in general, but I do love the grind of pushing for the upper echelon, like for Overwatch, that might be your top 500 players, and I do believe I'm capable of doing that. I just think that the gap between that goal,
bro, top 500 when you're hard stuck platinum, and you've been hard stuck platinum for ages and ages and ages at this point. I mean, it's just absurd. This like lofty, even that is a lofty goal. It's just so stupid, dude. And you're just setting yourself up for more failure. Why not just say, I'm going to make the best, most entertaining Overwatch streams and videos that I can? And that's it. That's enough. I don't understand why he's got this obsession that he has to reach this certain goal. Just have it set that you want to play to an entertaining level for your stream, and that'll probably be fine. Yeah, just say I want to do fun content and do that. Do it as a side hustle. Move on. Forget all this stupid shit about becoming this level and that level, you know? Like, it can't be fun. It can't be fun to try and grind out for something like that. Like, it probably sucks all the fun out of it too.
and tier 1 Overwatch, for example, is so large that I don't see myself setting another one even in another game or even trying to return back to this one. I think it'll just adjust to what I think is more appropriate for where I'm at.
Okay, I see. And you said top 500. Are you saying top 500 tanks or just players in general?
Top 500 tanks. Yeah, it's possible that I might grind out DPS or support, but I kind of am of the belief that if you can get to a certain rank on any of the roles, that means you have that rank's understanding of the game, but you have it from one angle, right? You have 3 different angles. You have tank, support, DPS. And I believe that can carry over to the other roles. I think that's something that I have...
Well, I mean, also, yeah, Overwatch, based on watching his streams, unless you're into it on a high level, doesn't really seem to be that entertaining or fun to watch. And there's probably other games that you could play. I mean, even like Marvel Rivals is probably better stream content than Overwatch, as long as you play the right character in the right role. And then you can dip into other games. I mean, I'm a bit biased on this, but I think Battle Royale games are very fun to watch because each game has got its own story, and it can get quite, it can get quite in depth in ways that like arena or hero shooters can't in the same way. You could do that. I mean, there's loads of stuff you could do. Co-op games, whatever it is. So it just feels like he's really limiting himself by even trying to be a top 500 Overwatch player tank, because you could just be doing a bunch of other stuff and focusing on that and making more interesting, compelling, entertaining content that is going to be more watched by people.
struggled with for a while because I've actually, while I peaked Masters 5 on support, it was during rank inflation. I no longer consider that my peak, even though on paper it is. I would say I probably am a solid mid diamond support player. If I were to go back and grind it again, I'd probably hit that. So to what I just said, the fact that tank is still in like upper plat has been driving me nuts because I figured I could just make that shift. But tank is proving to be a very different role, obviously, than support, but just more different than what I anticipated it being. So, but yeah, to answer your the specific question, top 500 tank for sure.
All right. I guess going back to the short form content thing and making a series, where did you find the motivation to do it the first time? Because I went through your whole catalog of TikTok and I noticed that there were some breaks, but for the most part, it was like daily you were doing it for a very long time. So where did you find that motivation at?
Well, I got to say the inspiration first because that'll add some light to the motivation as well. The inspiration for it, I've referenced like maybe a handful of times, and it might have been in the short form originally. I don't know. There was a guy named Jordan on TikTok, and he may have posted on other platforms, but I found him on TikTok, and he was documenting his journey, if you will, of taking an ice bath every single day. And I found it fascinating because you go from day one where he was.
I watched this guy take a bunch of ice baths and thought, I'm going to become an Overwatch pro. Dude, that's pretty wild. I just think he should be experimenting and trying to see what sticks with his audience, but no, he's stuck on this stupid ass idea of what people want to watch and getting zero results. Yeah, absolutely.
Terrified, petrified, would not even get in the water, and then he finally just plunges, right? And then he starts talking about the effects and what he's experienced, not just then, but over the course of the next every day, right? From there forward. And I thought, that'd be really cool. I've been creating at that point, it was May of 20, it might have been April of 23. I had been playing Overwatch after leaving Apex Legends because I felt like Apex was in a dry state back in November of 22. And I was like, man, my content's really not standing out. I got to find something that makes it unique. So I had started to brainstorm. I was out for a walk.
So I mean, dude, Apex is like up and down. All battle royales are like up and down. I think. Like, I've not played Warzone for ages, but it was really hot when Verdansk dropped, and then as they do, they just tinker and tweak until it gets to a point where it's just not as enjoyable, and you just like, for fuck's sake, and then you go away, and then they twist it and change it back and attract you back, and then they change it again. But yeah, I think the Apex is. I mean, what battle royale are people watching? I think probably still Warzone and probably Fortnite. I think is probably quite popular. But Apex, I'm imagining, is probably pretty quiet these days. What else is there? But in any case, yeah, I mean, I kind of understand that. 2022, I guess Overwatch 2, when did that come out? That was probably around that time. Maybe you can understand why he was attracted to that.
Talk with my wife, and I was like, what if I found a way to like document something, like document a crazy idea on a daily basis? It would create content in and of itself. It could be a repeatable but not repetitive format. I'm like, I can see this working. And the way that I kept it going for so long is that I'm a very big believer in that I am responsible for my own success.
Okay.
And at the moment that I choose to stop or quit something, I have admitted defeat, and I need to know why.
Okay, I like the first part of that. You're responsible for your own success. But the second part, I don't know, it's like sometimes you can't sweat it and you got to keep moving forward, particularly with like the online content creation world, Be realistic. Yes, exactly. Yes, be realistic. You can't brute force it sometimes. You got to just be realistic about what your thing is and go from there.
Reason why something I have, and at the moment that I choose to stop or quit something, I have admitted defeat, and I need to know why. There needs to be
Okay, but then it's like if you're in a wheelchair, if you're completely mullered, and your goal is to climb, and you've got lung issues, and your goal is to climb Mount Everest, well, then you probably need to recognize that that's never going to happen because you'll probably die, you know? So you need to reset and be more realistic. Maybe consider going and climbing that hill over there instead.
A clear reason why I'm admitting defeat. I'll use the OWCS /
Like, it's not,
Overwatch.
like, the problem is not the defeat, it's that you set yourself an unrealistic goal that is impossible to achieve based on the time you've got, based on your ability, based on your age, etc. You know, it's kind of like saying I'm going to beat the 100-meter world record, and it's like you're not going to beat the 100-meter world record. That is just an impossible task because you need to have been put into a certain process in your life that would lead you to a pathway that you'd be able to do that, and you also probably need to be black as well, to be honest. But you need to get into that pathway from very early days. You can't just all of a sudden decide you're going to be an athlete. Well, you can decide to be an athlete, but then you can't just decide, I'm going to beat the 100-meter world record. It's like, then going, okay, that's stupid, I'm not going to do that. That's not failure. That is just realistically recognizing what limitations are and acting accordingly, you know?
League, as for instance, I knew, like I explained, that my goal was set for 2026. I figured, 2.5, 3 years. If I can't do it in that length of time, I shouldn't be doing it because at that point I'm pushing 30. And realistically, it was already a stretch in my late 20s. So I knew that in my head. And as soon as I got close enough, and then I just took this 9 to 5 recently that is taking up a lot more of my time, I
Hey, you've
realized I
got a
was like, you know
job.
what? I got to admit defeat here because if I keep doing this, I won't see my kids. And that's way more important to me. So that was it. So it's just that kind of stuff. So I
Oh my
stayed
God,
motivated
that's
because
like bleak, dude.
I believe that discipline is more important than motivation. There were days I didn't feel like it, for sure. There were several days I didn't feel like it. But
Yeah, the thing with the job has changed, I think, over time. It gets a bit confusing. But I think at one point he did quit a job because he wanted to pursue an online career. But then I think obviously as time went on and it didn't happen, I think he ended up getting another job essentially. And he's also done ride share in between as well.
just kind of told myself, you got to kick yourself in the ass and get up and do it. It doesn't matter what it looks like. You got to do your best. And the whole, whether you like or hate the guy, David Goggins, the whole meme about who's going to carry the boats and the logs, that whole thing. I don't know if you've seen that or not, but basically, the idea is who's going to be the man enough for you when people need you the most. And if you can't be there for yourself, you're not going to be there for anybody else. Um, so discipline is a really big part of my life, and I'm not always the greatest at it. It's an ongoing learning process, but that is how I've
Hello, some
continued to
Polish
push through
bloke.
every single day.
So now getting into what people will
Also,
probably watch.
the other problem you've got as well is, having kids changes the game as well. And if you have kids, there's a lot of pathways that are just immediately cut off to you that you just are never going to be able to do because of obviously the attention and time you've got to then put into your kids, Like, I mean, I could never, well, not for a little while at least, but I couldn't like move countries. Like, it would make sense if I was single with no ties to, like, say, move to America or something like that because I get paid in dollars and it makes more sense to not worry about the exchange rate and so on and just live in America. But obviously, I couldn't do that. I couldn't just leave. See you later, kids. Bye. Good luck. Good luck. I'll be in America. Maybe I'll see you every once in a while. Let's house up. Yes. The chudlogic content house. Let's go. So yeah, it's like you just have got to recognize that there's certain pathways that get cut off to you. And I think it's the same thing for him. Like, and he seemingly now has recognized it. That, like, you can't do it all. And then when you got kids, it gets even more complicated.
Watching for recent events. So my first question is, when it comes to the recent events, have you seen growth in any or all of your channels?
Immensely, yeah. Unequivocally, yes. Just as a easy, for instance, I went from averaging just on Twitch. I multi-stream from Twitch, or excuse me, I multi-stream to Twitch and YouTube. And just on Twitch alone, my average viewership in the month of May I looked maybe yesterday or the day before. The average viewership in the month of May was right around the upper 20s, maybe lower 30s. I can't remember exactly. And this month, it's over 120.
Yeah.
So I have literally quadrupled in the course of 30 days. And
Right. I just think it's always stupid when people are like, "Oh my god, my thing went from 1 to 4. I've quadrupled." It's like, bro, that's like you're overstating it there. I mean, it's good. Don't get me wrong. It's been very beneficial. Like his viewership has increased, and he does seem to have been able to hold on to about 100, 120 odd viewers, and that is commendable that he's been able to do that. Because often when you're in the public eye, you can get a lot of attention that's fleeting, but he has actually managed to turn that into seemingly regular viewership. So that is actually pretty good. So that is actually, you know, well done to Gamin4Hope for being able to continue that viewership. Because I've seen plenty of people that have had a sharp rise in viewership that they've just not been able to hold on to any of it, and they've eventually just gone back to like their normal, like, you know, 5 viewer Andy ways. So it is impressive that he's been able to hold on to it, to be honest. It won't continue. I think you're being a bit too skeptical. I mean, if you look at his average viewership, it's been, you know, for a little while. I mean, if you look here, I mean, that's pretty good. You know? So when did he get his big, yeah, start of June. I mean, that 100 viewers average are there to stay, I think. I don't think that's going to drop off anytime soon. But I guess, yeah, we will see. We will see. I honestly thought it was going to be very fleeting, but I was too cynical, and he's able to hold on to it. So well done to gaming for that.
yeah, that's been a ride in and of itself. But yes, 100%. And that's just one metric. That there's countless others I could point to, but yes.
Do you think the growth has been necessarily a net positive for your content creation career?
I think so. I had to chew on that for a bit because for the first couple of days post drama is what I've kind of termed it. It was awful. I had some of the highest viewership I've ever had in the 300 and 400 range. And the problem was at the very beginning, I'd say for the first 2 or 3 streams, it was probably 70 to 80% toxicity. It wasn't just people who were watching. It was people who came in to rage bait or disguise well-meaning messages as that were really just rage bait. It was a lot of rage bait. And I knew it, so I just didn't respond. I just kept going. You know, that first stream.
I mean, it's all very well saying you didn't respond to the one guy. It's like, you know, credit for that. But like, dude, you did an entire video addressing allegations that you groomed your wife. And then you also did a separate short where you addressed the allegation you were going to meet a 13-year-old boy. So it's like, well, you are prone to responding to things that you shouldn't respond to. Although I think, hopefully now he's learned that that's probably best to ignore a lot of that shit. Time will tell. Dude, it's such a good video. It is peak content. It is peak content. And it did blow up his channel. It did. It did. But then, you know, the problem is like, he didn't do it because he thought it was going to blow his channel up. He was earnestly responding to what he thought was legitimate criticism that he needed to respond to. And because of how absurd it was and unintentionally funny it was, it ended up getting a lot of attention. Exactly. That one picture of the segments was like a fucking classic meme. I mean, you know, that is one of those things that just stays around and people remember, and they, you know, it's one of those memes that's got some level of staying power. So even though it was like the wrong decision, it accidentally ended up benefiting his channel.
I came back, I've had, just as a side note, I've had the same 3 moderators, including my wife, for the rest of my time as a content creator. My best friend, another guy that I met through the space, and my wife were my 3 moderators across Discord, Twitch, and YouTube. I never needed them. I never needed them. The rare times I had problems, I could handle it. I ended up getting, I think, I forget how many more we added. I know for sure at least 3. Oh, there's 4. There's at least 4 that I can think of off the top of my head that they'd been a part of the community forever and it offered. So I decided to throw some mod swords at them, and they've done a phenomenal job learning and figuring it out with me because none of us know what the heck to do now. But those first 2 or 3 days were brutal, um, as far as the net positive versus a net negative. But on the other
Oh,
side of those first 2 or 3
brutal.
days, basically once the no lifing the internet folks left the stream
Oh, guys, that's talking about you. He's having a go at you. Are you going to take that from him?
positive versus a net negative. But on the other side of those first 2 or 3 days, basically once the no lifing the internet folks
Wait, what did he say there? Was that nut? Was
days,
that nut?
basically once the no lifing
Bro. Dude.
the internet folks left the once the no lifing the internet
Bro. Did he just say the N-word? Did he just say the... It looked like the mouth movement made it look like he said the N-word. Maybe. Possibly. His Nazi ways are coming through once again.
internet folks left the stream. What I was left with was people who originally
Oh, he said... Oh, did he start? Oh, he said another word. Oh, no, I genuinely thought he said the N-word and I was stating it earnestly. Yeah, you got me. Fucking hell, dude. Obviously, yes.
found, whether it was my video that I posted that was in response to a reply when he made his video kind of reacting to me as a creator, I guess is kind of how I would term it. And then he did a VOD review of my Doomfist at the end of it as well, which is
I am
a
mad.
travesty in and of
Yes.
itself. But I after I made my video on it and responding to every single allegation I've had in the last like 6 months, that video went wildly above my normal performance levels. And
Yes.
when that brought in more people, there was a lot of negativity at first, but then the positives started to settle in. And what I was left with people who were, either they came in because of the chapters, which oddly, I thought that was kind of funny when people pointed out the chapters of that video on its own looked a little sus. That was funny. I have to give them that. I'm like, no, I'm going to leave them because they're there for a reason. And they
Hey, okay. Bit good nature there. Oh no, what is this? Just now getting around to a Gamin4Hope updates. 1 win out of 7 matches in the last 2 sessions. Back down to Plat 2. Oh no. Bro, he's back at Plat 2. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear.
are named for a reason, but that is funny. And but there are people, and I got a comment today, not even joking. Today I got a comment that was another one that sounded just like this, was strongly the effect of, I saw this post on Twitter, Instagram, or TikTok. I saw a post making fun of you or whatever, and then I came here intending to make fun of you, and I stayed because you seem like a pretty reasonable guy. I don't know why everybody hates you so much. And those people are who I still have.
Dude, okay, here's the thing. I think that there's a misinterpretation of a lot of the hate. It's not hate that he's getting, I don't think. There's probably some people that hate him because he's a right-wing Christian guy or something like that. Maybe. But I think a lot of it is more just laughing at him and finding the whole thing very entertaining and funny. And a lot of the hate is just deep, yeah, it's like deep trolling. Yes, exactly. There's some Lagubiters that are mad, but a lot of it is just like deep-rooted trolls that are trying to fuck with him. And so they post these absurd shorts presenting ridiculous narratives that he obviously takes like somewhat seriously. Oh, there's a lot of gay ops, is there? Yeah, of course there is. Yeah, I can imagine. That's what always happens when someone is identified as like easy to troll like this. Then obviously there's going to be people that are going to want to... I mean, look at Shelbo. Shelbo's a great example of this. Look at the fucking trolling industrial complex that has grown up around Shelbo. Like, it's the same thing here. People see an easy target, so they run gay ops to fuck with him, you know?
Okay, that's wonderful. But how do I make money off depressed people?
Damn, it's cold out goes to wardrobe. Is today a warmth/pedo or slur type of jacket day? Slur jacket sounds so FK and dumb.
Wait, did someone call that slur jacketing earlier? Thank you for the $5. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Still, post the influx of the drama, I'm still averaging over 120 to 100, and actually, it's been closer to 200 some nights, just on Twitch. And those people, I'm sure, where I said it was probably 70 to 80% were negative before, it is completely the other way now. It's 70 to 80% of people are either constructively criticizing or they're just there to enjoy themselves. So, I know it's a longer answer, but I think it's really important to provide the context to the idea that yes, it's been a positive, but it took a couple days for that to level out.
I guess towards the negativity you've got, have you been taking care to make sure to not like get bogged down in all that negativity that's been surrounding you lately? Because even today, you're still dealing with it to a lesser degree than before, but you still are. How's that been like? Have you been able to not get bogged down?
Yeah, I mean, so the first 2 or 3 days, like I said, were the toughest. There was a lot of negative emotions I was dealing with that day. But like I kind of alluded.
I mean, to be honest with you, it's like, I get it, right? I mean, obviously, if you're used to streaming to 30 people playing Overwatch at a hard stuck plat level with delusions of going pro, and then all of a sudden you're thrust in front of the internet and all these people are like talking about you, it's going to be quite difficult to like, it's going to be quite shocking. Yeah, getting a lot of attention out of nowhere. Exactly. And I think that people do underestimate that effect. And it's like, I know that it's like, oh, well, what, you sat there playing a game or something like that. No. Like, if you all of a sudden overnight had thousands of people talking about you and commenting on you and all this shit, you'd probably be unnerved by that, So I just think that it's reasonable that, yeah, you probably do feel a certain way about that. Yeah, exactly. It's like overwhelming for a normal person, right? I think if you're someone who has got, you obviously get used to it over time. So people that kind of grow slowly, I think, are somewhat inoculated to this effect because obviously, it's something you get used to some degree if you get in a few dramas or something like that. But when you've got like 30 viewers and then all of a sudden you've got hundreds of viewers and more than that are talking about you, it's kind of like a shock. But beyond obviously responding to things you probably shouldn't respond to and doing the video in the first place, it does seem like he's got quite a good ability to like not concern himself. Like, my name has been mentioned a couple of times as someone that's covered him a lot. People have super chatted questions about me and he's not really engaged and he's not really like talked about it. Which, I try and be reasonable. I'm not going to like freak out if he says some shit about me because it's like, well, yeah, obviously I've spoken a lot of shit about him. So if he wants to say something back, fair enough. I get it, right? But there's others that would react badly to that and would even maybe try and fuck with him further because they feel like they've been spoken badly about, so they want to fuck him up or something. Do you know what I mean? And it just doesn't seem to be like that about it. He's just kind of more disregarding people that are covering him, talking about him or whatever, Stay strong, Gaming4Hope. Ignore this deranged chud guy. Yes, exactly.
Alluded to earlier when we were talking about the importance of discipline. The way I look at it is when I have negative emotions in regard to my content, that typically means that there is something that either I'm missing or something that someone else is missing. And if I've done everything I can to provide the context for what they are missing, and I'm not missing anything, then I don't have any right to be depressed about it, is the way that I look at it. I know that's not everybody's way of handling things. What I have done to make sure that I don't get to those rock bottom places is I am married. Most people know that by now. My bride is a absolutely wonderful woman who has supported me through more things than I would care to admit. And she is my rock. Like, I can be going through.
Dude, that is, I mean, it's not a big deal, but it's just funny to refer to your wife as your bride. It's my bride. You're my bride.
I can be having one of the worst days in my life, and we've been through a lot worse than the internet crap. And she just looks at me and she says, "I love you," and everything goes away. And it might sound gushy and like, oh, it's so sweet, but it's so serious. Like, it's it's that, and I won't go into this part too much because I know it's not everybody's thing, but my faith in Christ. That's a very big thing for my life too. Between my wife and that faith that I have in Christ, those two things keep me grounded consistently when things go sideways.
I mean, look, I know
And
some people want to mock this kind of thing. I mean, this is like fine,
Okay,
right?
that's
I mean, he's
wonderful.
obviously
But
got
how do I make
a
money
support
off
network there,
depressed
so
people?
you can't really
She's my
fault that.
rock, and like a rock she is sinking, financially, because I've been chasing my dream.
Thank you for the super chat. There's obviously jokes and memes that you can have about this and the fucking focusing on the Overwatch thing. But like, I can't sit here and act like this is like unreasonable to like have some level of support. I mean, this is probably good that he's got this because otherwise he probably would have gone insane. Didn't help him much when he crashed out in his teammates' DMs. I mean, dude. I mean, obviously, yes, he's got the gene, okay? Very badly. But I can't really fault the idea of having support so you don't go crazy.
yeah, that's so. Yes, to answer your question directly.
Guilt Logic changing his tune. I'm not changing my tune. I'm just, you know, I'm not going to sit here and act like this is an outrageous thing to say when it's just not. It's like, well, fair enough. Good for you. But obviously, you know, try not to respond to people claiming that you that you're going to meet a 13-year-old boy and you should be good.
I have been doing my very best to take care of myself. And sometimes that does look like taking a break. That's still a reasonable response. You just have to, again, I have to answer my question of why I'm doing that. Then if I know clearly why I'm taking a break, then just take a break.
Kind of a follow-up to that, indirectly maybe. Do you think that you've become bitter or toxic lately?
I think that's a healthy question to ask. I will say I have done my very best not to be. I have been told by people who have been in my community for a while that they see me shifting that way. And what I have challenged them to show me, it's not that I'm being arrogant and like, oh, there's no way you're right. Find the clip. If I'm being that way, I'm not aware of it. And the only way I become aware of it is if someone shows me or tells me or gives me it, for instance, so that I can actually be aware of it. It's just like anything else in life. If you're, uh, I don't know, a great example to use here that would make sense for a whole majority, but if there's a way that your friend is communicating to you, and to them it's normal, maybe it's a word they use, right? It's a totally normal word for them to use, and you never tell them that word bothers you, and it's totally normal to them.
Hey everybody, I need to just
Classic
squash
thing.
apparently a rumor that's floating around. I don't know where it's come from. I don't know why it's out there. I have my own suspicions, but that doesn't matter. The important thing is, no, at no point was I ever going to meet with a 13-year-old boy. Absolutely insane that I even have to say those words out loud. But please know that if there's a rumor floating around that you come into touch with that has anything to do with me meeting with
Thanks
a
for the
13-year-old
update,
boy,
man.
it definitely was not a real thing. I would challenge you to reach out to me and let me know who is perpetuating these things so that I can continue to report the accounts to the police. I do think I understand who it is, but every account helps push the case further. So if you do get these kinds of rumors sent to you or you come across them, please link me these accounts so that I can get them sent off to the police. I appreciate all of your help.
Dude,
We'll
that is probably my favorite Gaming4Hope clip because of how absurd it is and how needless it is to fucking respond to such an absurd, ridiculous allegation that presumably is being provided with no evidence.
They're never going to be able to fix it in the context of your relationship. In the context of the internet, for me, coming back to the actual specifics here, I think when people have pointed at things, because I've asked a few to, hey, can you send me a clip? Hey, can you give me a for instance? And some of them do. And most of the time, I have not found one so far that wasn't in this particular category that I'm going to share. And I think this is what I see a lot of people perceiving that way. I have stopped giving a fuck. I'm over it. I care about people. I could care less what people think. And I
Okay.
am so over constantly feeling like I have to defend myself and defend the game I'm playing. I'm just over it. So my responses now, instead of just, I hope you have a good day, which is what I used to do. Now, 9 times out of 10, it's to block the account or hide them from the YouTube channel. And apparently that is considered to be bitter and toxic. And on the live streams, I'm getting.
Well, I mean, not necessarily. It depends what the person's saying. If the person is just being an irritant, then it's fine to get rid of them. The problem is when you get so sensitive that you're literally blocking out people who are making, in some cases, potentially even like somewhat good-natured comments and ribbing and stuff like that, you know? Like it's framing it all as hate and acting like you got to block it all out. Like Pirate Sobber is a great example of this, where he was blocking people for saying managem, when the right thing to do in that situation, like to not be a total fucking pussy, is just to go, oh, you're managem, yeah, and then that's it, you know? It becomes part of your law and that's it. So I don't know exactly the nature of what he's blocking. But if people are being unreasonable, then yeah, it's fine to obviously ban them. But just don't be so sensitive that you end up blocking out, like good-natured ribbing and stuff like that, which is you should just be able to handle as a content creator.
More witty. I posted a clip recently, like last couple of days, where someone said that I think it was my cholesterol is higher than my rank or something like that. And I have to admit, it was at least clever. They're bringing health into Overwatch. Okay, I see what they're doing here. And I just snapped back with, well, your IQ is lower than the age of your account. So, and it was a brand new account for context. So,
yes, owned him.
It was like,
owned him.
That in and of itself, I had a few people reach out to me and like, hey, I don't know if that was a good call. I'm like, it's witticism. If people can't take a joke like that, I mean, he takes a dig, I'm going to take a dig back, and I'm going to do it in a way that's meant to be a joke. If he takes it personally, he or she or whatever, whoever they are, takes it personally, that's
good
on
witticism.
them. If they're going to dish it out, they need to be able to take it too.
Yes.
So that's kind of, I think it's really just those two things. The fact that I hide, mute, block, whatever you want to call it, depending on the platform, people that are being outright toxic or rage baiting. I don't have a problem with people disagreeing with me in the comment section. That's fine. That's just the internet. You can't get over that. But I do have a problem with people being outright toxic in their responses. And that's from all sides. I blocked someone today. And I really think this is important to say. I hid someone on my YouTube channel today who attacked this person claimed to be a Christian. And from what they said, they probably are. But they went after some of my specific nuanced ways of handling things in the public sphere regarding people who disagree with Christianity. And maybe the classic example of the LGBTQIA plus Christian conflict.
Yeah, talk about that some more.
I handle it in a very neutral stance. I have my own personal beliefs, but I try to bridge the gap between, so do the folks that are members of the LGBT community. I have nothing but respect for you, even if we don't agree with each other. That's how society should work. Even if you don't agree, we need to be respectful towards one another. And
dude, I've said it before about this stuff, but it's like, I understand that this is like a cope to try and sanitize the image of it, right? But like, obviously, he clearly thinks badly of people that participate in those acts, even if he wants to do the hate the sinner, not the sin type mentality. And it's like, I don't have a problem with someone having a view on homosexuality that is rooted in biblical, whatever. Like, that's your right to have that view and have that perspective. But it feels like he's trying to sanitize it so he doesn't get in trouble. I prefer when people are a bit more honest about it. And they're just like, I hate homos. And I'm like, okay, there we go, fair enough. We can work with that. We can work with that.
This individual basically said that I was being a pansy and not standing up for what's right. I hit him too.
I mean, I can understand why like a hardline Christian would feel like that about you, yes. I mean, of course they're going to feel like that because they feel like you're pandering and being too soft on it. And this is the problem of bringing it into this. You should never have got into all the LGBT Christian shit or spoken about it or even fucking mentioned it, because you're gonna inflame the people that you're trying to appeal to, which is Overwatch players, and you're gonna have to soften it to the point that Christians are not gonna fucking like it anyway. I don't know. It just seems stupid. Just don't get into it at all. I guess the toothpaste can't go back in the tube, so you're kind of fucked and it's out there now. But yeah, you're obviously going to have people that are going to take issue with your, perceived soft touch on this topic.
This isn't a partisan issue. This is if you're gonna be a toxic prick in my comments or rage bait, you're out. I don't deal with it. Um, and I think that's also being perceived that way. So I hope that answers your question.
Yeah, obviously, I've had to do it too, even though I'm a way smaller channel, hiding people, things of that nature. I mean, that comes with the territory, right? It comes with the territory. Some people go too far. Some people, maybe you don't like it, but you still keep them anyway. I don't think that's bitter or toxic. I wouldn't use that language. But my question was actually specific to the example you gave earlier, the TikTok that you post, well, short form content. I'm sure you post on YouTube too, about like the cholesterol and the IQ. I agree that it's witty, and I obviously watched it, and I was like, I get what he's doing. But I don't know if you saw the comments on that TikTok, but a lot of them were...
Well, the thing is, I'm all for fucking talking shit to chat if you want to, but that doesn't really fit with the style of content that he's trying to do. Because people aren't turning up to his stream to watch him fucking argue with shitters that are trying to fucking insult him. They want to watch him play the game or whatever. That's why they want to watch more so than his witticisms. And you probably shouldn't post clips of it because that's not really the content that you're doing either. So, probably a mistake how you handled that, to be honest, and probably better off just ignoring and certainly not posting a clip of it.
I don't want to say they were offended, but they were criticizing you by saying like, wow, that's a good one, things like that, because obviously sentiment online is against you, obviously. And I guess a follow-up to that would be, do you think that making content like that or saying things like that witticism you said, is potentially making your circumstances worse on the internet?
I mean, it could, but also saying nothing can too. And I think that's the unfortunate part of doing this. These decisions can be really tricky because doing and saying nothing, you just get walked all over. It never ends. I promise you. Like a lot of people, it's the classic when you get bullied, just walk away. They don't stop until you put a stop to it, and that.
Well, yeah, but then you put a stop to it by banning the accounts or muting the account or something. I mean, like the thing is you create a perpetual cycle. It doesn't seem to understand. You create a perpetual cycle where you respond and people can see they get a reaction and they do it more. Oh. Hello? I'm back. So someone sees it and goes, oh, he's going to respond with one of his witticisms. I'm going to go and do the same thing, hoping to get the same reaction. Whereas if you just ignore it, like people eventually do just fucking move on and get bored and that's it, you know? So it just, yeah. It just seems like foolish mentality to think that standing up to it, it's not, he's acting like if you hit the bully in the face, they'll stop and they'll start crying. But that's not really how the internet works, And it's fine to speak up and say your piece about someone trying to talk shit to you, but it just doesn't really fit with the content he's trying to do. So it's probably best to ignore, mute, and move on.
How you put a stop to bullying is very nuanced, so we aren't going to go there. You could do a lot of different things there. But doing nothing doesn't typically work. And while there are some times where it does work, there was a lot of those kinds of comments that night. So I was just kind of like, well, I'm just going to respond to one and I'll clip it because it's funny and moved on. If it's a net negative to some people, that my content's not for them. And that's okay. I've always been okay with the fact that my content's not for everybody. I think if somebody, and this is a very controversial person, so I'm going to put that out there in bold letters, Matt Rife, if you're familiar with his comedy. He's a stand-up comedian who does a lot of crowd work and has zero filter. He does not care about being politically correct. He does not care about what people think about him. And I think that's part of why I like his comedy so much, is because he just doesn't care. He will go for the throat and he will make the most edgy jokes he possibly can in the presence of someone who would probably be offended. And what's amazing is 9 times, I don't think I've seen one video where he said a joke that was about a particular group of people that happened to be in his audience where they got offended. Most of them are laughing about it. And I think that's what's important here, especially in the context of that particular
Literally the least funny comedian alive. Okay. I
clip.
don't know
It's
that is.
comedy. Comedy is meant to push past the boundaries of what we perceive to be like correct, right? That's comedy helps us deal with what life, the difficulties and negatives in life, and do it in a healthy way. And my humor, my sense of humor is very dark. It just is. I don't do that on the internet because again, people
Bro, no, please do. Tell some of your dark, edgy jokes. Imagine the content of the dark mind of Gaming4Hope. Please. We actually need it. It's actually crucial that you tell us your dark comedy.
way take that out of context
Gaming for
very
Edge.
quickly. But I do have a very, very twisted sense of humor, and it helps me deal with life as it comes. When things happen, when crap hits the fan, I laugh through it because that's the way that I've always dealt with things. So coming back to the original question of do I think it's a net positive or a net negative? I'm not sure that I know the answer to that. I don't. But if it's a net negative, if someone really sees that clip and says, "Oh, I don't want to watch Gamin4Hope anymore. He's gotten toxic." If that one clip says that my rest of my character as a person is now toxic because of one clip, that says more about them than me. Because I don't, those kinds of things don't happen commonly. They don't, and that's part of why. That's part of why people notice them. Is because I don't do that very often. It's very rare, and it's usually after I've just been fed up in the moment. So I don't know. I don't know that I don't know whether it's a net negative or a net positive. To be honest, I don't know that answer directly, but I do know that if people
Oh,
don't
two
enjoy that part of what I
sides.
do, that's okay. They don't have to watch my content. That
Two
won't offend me.
sides to
It's
me.
okay.
So I guess moving on from maybe that and going on to, I guess, content creators as a whole. Have you seen some of the coverage from other content creators that started after your most recent video addressing the claims and allegations made against you?
No, I don't watch it. It doesn't show up on
Hey!
my homepage or For You page or anything.
Bro,
The only
that is actually great. That is actually good. Good for him. Like, it is literally worthless to watch people talk about you, like, off stream or something, like, and get bothered, because obviously there's not content to talk about that sort of thing. Like, all you're going to do is annoy yourself.
only things that I'm aware of that people have made of me are the ones I specifically addressed in that video, addressing the allegations video or accusations. I can't remember how I titled it, but that video. And then I've heard there's a scratch and sniff meme about me now, which is interesting. Apparently, someone clipped me adjusting in my chair
Oh
and
my
then
God.
smoothing out my mustache, which is what actually happened.
Dude. Oh my God, that is classic, like, lolcow fuel, isn't it? Scratch and sniff stuff.
There's a scratch and sniff meme about me now, which is interesting. Apparently, someone clipped me adjusting in my chair and then smoothing out my mustache, which is what actually happened, and said, "Oh, he scratched his balls and sniffed it." I'm like, okay. I just like whatever you guys want to think, man. I don't even know what to say to that one. That's wild. So, and that one's more of a meme, I think. But if people take it seriously and get offended, man, that's their problem. I don't care.
Yeah. I've because I recently did all of my research on your TikTok. I know the content creator you're talking about. I was talking more of like maybe more reputable, but you answered that question. So yeah, I think that's like more of a detractor channel. That's has you
Yeah,
in it
constantly that
in
way.
its crosshairs.
Let me ask you,
Yeah.
if you don't mind, can I flip the script here and ask you a question? Is
Yeah,
it okay?
sure, absolutely.
So, who have you seen make content? If you're willing, you don't have to put this in the video one way or the other. This is just me asking you a question. I'm curious who you've seen.
Yeah. So in my, I guess, like personal life, I like to watch. Okay, not endorsing completely here. These people are pretty, maybe crass, you could say. They use language that I wouldn't necessarily fully agree with.
Oh.
Just throwing that out there. But
Fair enough.
okay, so I've seen coverage naturally from a streamer known as Chudlogic. He used to be
Wait, what?
Odd name, but he used to be.
Huh? Crass? Disavow? What the fuck, dude? Huh? What do you mean crass? Bro, come on.
in like the political sphere. And now he does a lot of commentary. He still does political stuff too. And then I don't necessarily watch him always, but I actually watched a video from Harmful Opinions. He's also commentary. These are commentary channels. I know you're obviously more you're fully into Overwatch. I also play Overwatch. I even have content on my channel that is Overwatch. But
Yeah, I saw some of that. Yeah.
yeah, but it's just like I like to watch commentary just in general, and my channel is kind of like a mix of both.
Dude, I'm glad I was being nice to this guy and trying to defend him from chat earlier, because he's a fan, clearly. You guys. Come on, guys, he's a fellow Chud Nation member. Come on. We're gaggers now. We're gaggers. We're gaggers. We're gaggers too. Cooperation. Crass logic. No, I get it. I get it. I understand. No, listen, I actually, I completely support if someone feels like, it might get them in a bit of hot water. They need to do the old, listen, I don't agree with everything he says or the way he says it, but I do watch this guy. Fair enough. I get it. Especially as, I have gone pretty, pretty into the Gamin4Hope stuff. I mean, dude. Granny on the lean. I get it. I get it. Although, when was this? 3rd of July. I can't remember when that came out.
Those are the two people I saw. And some of these questions, especially coming up, actually stem from their coverage. And obviously the sentiment from their chats, their comment sections as well. So that's why, that's how I curated this whole list of questions.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah. So you
Gagging
might not want to watch their coverage, but
yeah. I don't care what people think. I don't watch that stuff. I'm not gonna feed them the ad revenue.
Yeah. Okay, so
listen, I respect it. I respect it. I think that's good. I think he's got a good. If he's truthful there, that is a good mentality to have. I mean, think about pirate software, right? And think about how we've spoken about pirate software recently, and we've obviously, said about how absurd it is that he obviously watches a lot of coverage about himself, and then he kind of spurgs out and responds to it on stream. Like, this is actually the correct way to handle this. Because, I've got no expectation that he's going to, like, respond to me. I think that would be very obnoxious to think that would be reasonable. Because I'm just talking about his stuff. I mean, if he, obviously had an issue with something I said and wanted to talk about it, of course I'd be open to it. But it's one of those topics where it's not really expected that you're necessarily going to have an open door to talk to them. Because, I mean, you're just giving commentary on the stuff they said and the videos they've made, So I'm like, yeah, good for you. Yeah, don't bother. I mean, what's the point? Unless you are looking to monetize the hate and make content out of people talking about you, all you're going to do is watch it off stream and then get annoyed about it. And then what do you do about that? Like, there's nothing you can really do with that. You just are going to end up getting annoyed. So, yeah, I think it's absolutely the right call. Because, I mean, what could he really get from watching these videos? I mean, the only thing that I think Gag gets into it, is probably criticism of, like, the Ebgging stuff and shit like that. I mean, I think that's something you can probably take away of, like, okay, I can understand why, using my bad kind of circumstances to try and solicit money from my audience is probably manipulative and I shouldn't do it. Like, that's about the only thing, really, I think. But then from what I understand, I feel like this is kind of older behavior from him, and I'm not sure if he really does it anymore. So, we'll see anyway. He gets into the Ebgging stuff.
I remember seeing in your content how you at some point wanted to do acts of outrageous generosity, but I know that throughout your career as a content creator, you've had financial struggles. Were you ever able to do any acts of outrageous generosity?
Yes, 100%. Now, am I willing to give specific examples? no, and that may look like I'm lying to you guys, and that's fine. But the way that I look at outrageous generosity is I keep that between my wife and I. We do
I won't tell you about the outrageous generosity that I've engaged in, but what I will do, or have done, is come cap in hand when my car's broken down and I need some cash. I'll listen, but it's a bit like, I don't know, man. Especially if, I mean, I don't know what this outrageous generosity thing is exactly. But if you're presenting the idea publicly that you're going to engage in outrageous generosity, it does feel like manipulative to then not reveal what that is. And it's like, well, I've done it and you don't need to worry about it. Well, what was it? And can you evidence it in some way?
those things privately. They aren't meant to be in the public eye because it's not for public attention. It's meant to be doing the
Wait, but then if he's promoting himself as doing outrage, well, you put it in the public eye by saying that you're doing it. You can't claim that you're doing it and then not talk about it. It's like you do it quietly and then you, because you're benefiting from the social clout that you get from acting like a generous person and then not giving the specifics. You either do it quietly behind the scenes and don't mention it, or you do it outrageously, but then you've got to reveal what that is and show evidence of that, I think.
right thing at the right time with the right circumstances, right? So if I know of somebody that has a need and we have a way to fill that need, we fill the need and we don't say anything about it. It's not something that we don't want to be braggadocious in the sense of what we're doing to help other people. The exception to that is whenever we've done.
Wait a second. Sorry. What is this? Okay, sorry. I need to go back. What was it he said about this? Because the thing is, he is being braggadocious if he's talking about doing it publicly, no?
I don't watch that stuff.
Okay, so I remember seeing in your content how you at some point wanted to do acts of outrageous generosity.
I need to know more about that. Hey! He's in chat. How's it going, Gag? Listen, Gag, okay? I've been trying to be nice, but lots of people will be calling you fat. I'm just letting you know, okay? Don't take it to heart. My chat can be very mean. But I think you've done a great job, to be honest. I'm not just saying that because you're here. We're gaggers on this stream. We're gaggers today. We're gaggers today, okay? Well, I'm not saying you have to be nice. You can do what you want, as long as it's not against TOS. But, you know. Okay, so... Well, I tell you what, the thing is, I don't know if I'm going to watch the video. I do want to see what this outrageous...
What's up, gaggers? Today I want to go over...
What's up, gaggers? Oh, this is just a supercut of the interview. Okay. I would, yeah, it would be good to have examples of what that looks like. Because if it's just like casually mentioning it, it depends how much it's mentioned and like what the detail of it is. But I definitely think there's something amiss about talking about doing outrageous acts of generosity and making it public and then not revealing the details of it, claiming you want to keep it private because it should be kept private. You can't have it both ways, you know?
Is it the right need and touched? Because there's an accountability need there. I'll use a very specific example. This is an old one. I doubt anybody even knows about this one. It's that old. This might even have been in my first year. I know for sure it wasn't beyond my second year of streaming. It was my first year. And now that I think about it, I know for a fact it was my first year. I got affiliated on Twitch. It's my first meaningful, any opportunity to make revenue from doing what I did. And I had a bunch of people like I don't even know if it was gifting subs or, because I don't even remember if that was a thing then, but it was subs and, people sending tips and stuff. And I decided with my first month of revenue, I'm like, I want to do something nice for my community locally. I have this is my personal life. I'm going to put that disclaimer out there. I have family who are in law enforcement, and I know how hard their job is, regardless of all of the political turmoil around that. I don't think anybody can argue the fact that their job is brutal. There's really not much getting around that.
I mean, some people would argue the toss on that, but nonetheless, I understand the basic point that he's making.
And I want to do something nice for them. So we did something called Donuts for Cops, kind of a fun play on at the time, Gamin4God, which was my original name. And what we did is I said, hey, I will buy however much. I can't remember if I decided to match it or if we were just going to use the revenue. That part I won't speak to because I don't.
Bro, literally fueling coppers for racist acts of racist brutality in the community. I mean, obviously, I don't think that. It's just funny to think that even that, like, even his selection of what he's going to do as a goodwill type of thing is like plagued with political issues, and it's why that unless you've got like a hyper conservative community, generally speaking, you're probably going to just do something about cancer or something like that, right? Now, I don't even have a problem with doing stuff for police, but you've got to recognize that if you're trying to present the image that you're like a middle of the road guy, you're not super political, you don't want to get into it, you've got your beliefs and that's that, it just seems bizarre to pick police, a very contentious topic in America in the modern era, when you're trying to get into the Overwatch community. I mean, it just seems like the worst decision to make, you know? Pack the blue. This one's for Derek Chauvin. This donut's for Derek Chauvin. And by the way, George Floyd died of a fentanyl overdose. I mean, I'm being a bit silly, obviously, but that's the way that people will take it and push it. I can easily see how people could frame this and push this, you know? Like, obviously support what you want, but you are making a political statement that obviously is going to be taken a certain way. I mean, it's like the inverse of this would be like, you know, a conservative organization supporting Black Lives Matter. It would obviously be very controversial. And I think this even happened where Black Rifle Coffee, I think, did something that was against Rittenhouse, I believe, or something like that. I can't remember the details of it. But in any case, they did something that was badly received because it went against their stated kind of conservative aspects, you know? So, yeah, just like, oh God, dude. This guy needs a PR guy. His scrim team was right. They need a PR operative. He needs a PR guy.
Don't remember that for sure. But I will say with confidence that it was based on the money I made from Twitch that month. I was going to go buy donuts and coffee for cops and just drop it off one morning. I don't remember if I posted to social media or if I just streamed it to my stream at the time, honestly. But I remember saying, hey, here's my proof. There's literally donuts. There's literally coffee. And I was literally standing in the police station. Like it was all there because they sent money knowing that's where it was going. So I wanted to make sure that if I'm saying to them, I'm going to spend the money that you're sending me to hang on to for a second on this purpose, they need to know that it went there. Period. End of story. Because the moment that you have the question in someone's mind of, is he actually spending the money on what he says he's spending it on? That's a problem. Because you don't ever want to get to that point where your viewers can't trust you. So my community knew at the time, and that was that. Any other stuff like that was like fundraising for other causes or purposes was done, and money went straight to them. I never touched it. That was about the only time I can think of where it was a nuanced, we were doing generous things, but it was
Okay, on hearing his explanation a bit more, I mean, that seems fine if he is providing proof of like the first instance there. But then he's alluding to these, you know, other things which we don't really have oversight over, but you know, I don't know, man. If he's making like a couple of comments about it and that's it, that's fine. But if he's making a big deal out of this outrageous generosity, and then maybe there's still a problem there, but
using me as a vehicle, if you will, for that money to get where it needed to go. And I never wanted to be the guy that was like, hey, we donated all that money. Where did it go? So that's, yeah. So hopefully
also, it's like, yeah, I mean, this is the problem as well, isn't it? It's not just about the political aspect of it. It's like, you know, police budgets are like massive in the United States, right? And yes, I know, you know, I'm not making an argument to defund them or something, obviously, but like they are well fucking able to get fucking coffee and donuts if they want coffee and donuts, probably on the fucking taxpayer dime as well, you know, if they're on shift or something. So it's just like, you probably don't need to give cops coffee and donuts, right? Like, there's probably, you know, you're probably saving the taxpayers a couple of bucks maybe on that day or something. But there's probably a more, you know, legitimate cause that would be more widely supported by the community of people that you're trying to appeal to. But anyway, nonetheless, I don't hate it necessarily. It's just seems ill-advised for what he's trying to do.
that answers your question, but yes. And there is some plan now that I have a 9 to 5. We were paying our bills before. Our bills were paid largely and thanks to the community, but we also had some things I was doing outside of content that I just didn't talk about because not everybody has to know everything I'm doing all the time. All of our bills were paid, and I now with this job, we just have additional revenue. So my hope is to over the next one of my goals as a creator has been to somewhat regularly, whether that's like once every 3 months, once every 2 months, I haven't really decided, as frequently as is as feasibly possible. I'd like to do an actual fundraiser stream for an organization, a 501c3, again, something that doesn't go through me at all, it goes straight to the organization. St. Jude is one. There's one that I've worked with in the past called Stack Up.
Yeah, also, I mean, that kind of passed me by, but yes, you make a good point. He will say that knowing he uploaded his granny lead at his gender reveal. I mean, maybe he's learned. Maybe he's learned now that you shouldn't reveal so much about yourself. So, credit to him if so, obviously. Credit to him if he's learned. But, I mean, yeah, obviously lots of inadvisable content decisions from back in the day.
An organization for veterans, uses gaming as a way to help veterans deal with all the things they deal with when they come home from war, PTSD, what have you.
Wait, what? No, dude, wait, what? I'm fundraising for cops and soldiers. After soldiers have had a busy old shift going and killing brown babies in Iraq, we make sure they got a bunch. Like, I don't believe that myself. I just can see this sort of narrativization that like the woke Overwatch community would do about something like this. It's like literally the worst possible thing you could do. When you could support a cause that is just universally, like cancer for children. I mean, saving kids from cancer, not giving cancer to kids, obviously. Saving kids from cancer is something that is just going to be universally beloved by left and right alike. No one is going to argue the toss about giving money to kids that have got cancer. But you are picking like some of the most politically hot potato topics, that you could imagine. What next? Oh yeah, we're doing some fundraising for Israel. What we're going to do is we're going to raise a bunch of money and send it over to the IDF. Yes, exactly.
Worked with, not to the organization. St. Jude is one. There's one that I've worked with in the past called Stack Up. They're an organization for veterans. It uses gaming as a way to help veterans deal with all the things they deal with when they come home from war, PTSD, what have you. And I'm very passionate about veterans. I think they are some of the most wonderful people, but they just aren't. I don't think anybody really knows how to engage with them, and they don't know how to engage with others either. It's not just one-sided. It's both sides. And so I always really loved really good veterans organizations like Stack Up. And I want to do something like that more regularly because now there's no.
There is this other one dealing with conversion camps. Yeah, we got some money going to pray the gay away. That's one thing I'm very passionate about. Getting rid of the sin from their minds.
There's no constant need for finances on our end, so I don't need to be feeling like I'm pulling from that or maybe confusing people because I've been asking for money, but now I'm sending money to other people. It just adds confusion. So, but now that I have that 9 to 5 and I can confidently say I could even contribute to those kinds of things, I just think it would be the right time to really activate that in a public light too. I hope that makes sense. It was a very long answer to a relatively simple question, but I think it was really important to get the nuance in there.
Yeah, I kind of want to touch on that after this next question. Going back to the harmful opinions topic, he made a video about you being a grifter. So I actually want to, and then the chudlogic person criticized you, made fun of you for Ebgging. Okay, so I guess my first question to all this is:
oh, did I?
Okay,
oh,
you have done multiple campaigns to raise money from your audience, asking for thousands of dollars across multiple of them. What would you say to those who claim that you ebeg?
They're welcome to think that. That's the very first thing I would say. The second thing I would say, anybody that has watched any of my live streams at the very beginning would know that when I've done these things, they were an extension of what we call the mantra in our community. I call it that. I don't know that anybody else has called it that. Let's be fair. But the thing that I say at the beginning of every single stream is that life is difficult. Don't do it alone. We have it on a T-shirt. It's literally a big deal.
Okay, dude, I can already see the problems with this. The difference is you're using your platform that ostensibly is to do gaming content on, and you're taking advantage of that in order to do charity fundraising for yourself, right? I don't actually have a problem if a creator has some big issue and they need to fundraise and do a GoFundMe, but there should absolutely be separation between the two. And you should not use the platform, and my value on this is you should not use the platform that you have built to promote charity to benefit yourself, because it just feels like that's a misappropriation of what your platform is there for, you know? It should be, that's there. If people find it and want to support it, fair enough. But you shouldn't then use your videos to promote it in order to like garner charity money for yourself. I just personally don't think that's a particularly, you know, what's the right word? I just think it's kind of an unpleasant way of using your platform. Because it's not for that. It's like it's misappropriation of what the platform has been built for. Obviously, you know, creators can. I don't have a problem with creators asking for money for content. Like, hey guys, if you want to support me. That's fair enough. Every creator has to do that in order to make this viable as a career. And obviously, we've got the bars, we've got the goals. Don't have a problem with that. It's very manipulative though, because you are essentially like relying and leaning on a parasocial connection that you've got with your audience to solicit money that they might not otherwise want to give to you, because and you're using this kind of like feeling of desperation and putting the desperation across in order to make people more likely to give you money. Like the thing is, if you're genuinely on a hard turn, rather than do like the Ebgging shit, why not just do something for your community? Why not say, hey guys, I'm going to do a 24-hour live stream in order to, you know, and just do that or something. Like, give your audience something back if you're in a tight spot with money. That seems like a much more reasonable way to do it. And I don't think anyone would have an issue with you doing a 24-hour live stream, you know, to try and drum up a bit of extra revenue because you're in a bit of a tight spot financially, you know? Yeah, it's like taking advantage of people's good nature. Yeah, exactly. Just being like, oh, car's broke down, give me money, please. Don't like it. Not a fan. And it will rightly and fairly get criticised as Ebgging, you know? I mean, this is just outrageous, man. Dude, look at this, dude. This is wild. Thank you very much for the financial help we've received. It will cover the cost of a tow and diagnostic. If it's a fuel pump, it ranges from $200 to $1,000 to get done. If you can help, please continue to do so. Bro, yeah, thanks for the money. Give me more. What the fuck, dude? Like, come on, dude. That's outrageous. That's taking the piss, man.
Hey Twitter, you guys know I don't put out videos like this very often, and yes, it's the fact that I'm going to be live, but hold on, don't click away yet, this is very important. This is the closest to a stream emergency that I have had since I've been streaming. I really need your help, Gaming fam, this is a big deal. I'm going to give you guys some more details when you come hang out on the stream, but I'm going to be live in an hour, twitch.tv/Gamin4God, and I need you there. And I also need you to bring your wallets, as horrible as that is to say.
I could not, dude. Right, guys, I'm firing up stream. Bring your wallets. I need money. Dude, this is wild. What the fuck? That's an insane thing to say.
I'm currently stranded. I'll give you more details on the stream. I love you guys tremendously. I really, really need your help. Again, that's twitch.tv/Gamin4God at 1:30 p.m. Central Standard Time.
Now, to be fair, this was back in 2019. But like, and the other one was 2023. Oh my god, dude, there's loads of these. Okay, should we just let's do all of these? These are funny. Come on. Thank you, Hengist and Flip Flop, for this. This is from 2023.
Hey, what's going on, social media family? David here. Just wanted to let you know of a need. If you guys can help, great. If you can't, please do not feel obligated. I want that up at the very beginning of this.
Also, do you know what the other problem with this is as well? You get a bunch of wretched losers in your community that constantly need a fucking handout. No thank you, okay? No thank you. Like, this is what this is going to cultivate as well. And then some fucking wretched beast will be like, oh, I need money for my fucking diabetes medication, please help. And you got to retweet it, you know, because you feel obligated to. Fuck that.
We have a car that is broken down. I'm going to get towed in the morning to a mechanic to find out what's wrong with it. I know that mechanic's troubleshooting is roughly $130, I believe, $130 an hour, which is pretty average. And then obviously we still have to repair it. What we think it is the fuel pump at this point. Pretty much all signs point to that. And those can range anywhere from $220 to $700, $800. I have no idea what it would cost to repair. What I'm asking is whatever you have the dollars to help with, we would appreciate it at this point. I don't ask unless I absolutely need it because I hate asking, to be honest with you, but I'm going to. So.
Oh, do you hate asking now?
There's
Interesting.
Cash App, Venmo, and a few other options there. So if you have the means, please do. If you don't, please do not feel obligated to help.
I mean, this.
God bless you guys.
I mean, it's sort of like, dude. The thing is like it's very phony to be like, well, if you don't feel need to help, then don't. I mean, like, come on, you're trying to take advantage of their good nature. It just feels very tacked on, like just to make it look like you're not trying to ask what's for something unreasonable. I mean, this guy was, I don't know if still is, but at least was a prolific e-beggar from the looks of it. Another one from 2023.
I'm going to cut right to the chase. For context, my son isn't biologically speaking mine. Up until recently, we actually had a reasonable working relationship with his biological father in which we were able to sustain visitation accommodations for him. We had a pseudo contract written up that we each signed, and he broke that contract, which caused him to have visitations held from him. He stopped talking to us and decided to sue us for 50% custody, which is excessively higher than even his visitations were. We personally believe, beyond a shadow of a doubt, he is unfit to be a parent. Unfortunately, because he's gone the legal route, we are now forced to come up with $2,500 for a retainer for a lawyer. And honestly, that's not something we can do without your help. I want you to know, if you're in a place where you don't have money, don't feel like you need to do this, but we do want to ask because we know there are people who would be willing if they knew there was a problem. If you would consider giving through Cash App, Venmo, or PayPal, all of which are included with the post today, we would really appreciate it. No matter what, if you would also be praying over the situation, we would really appreciate that. I'm going to cut right to the chase.
Right. I mean, this is obviously... Oh, look, one from 2022. Okay.
Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, everybody out there on social media. Gamin4Hope here. Just want to give you guys a quick video update. We're still in the hotel, and they've in fact extended our stay quite a couple of days now. We're going to be here until Thursday afternoon. Today is Tuesday, if I'm not mistaken. Hey, I just want to let you guys know, our apartment complex, for whatever reason, does not feel obligated to take care of any of our meals at this point. I vehemently disagree with that morally, but I understand legally they probably have a lot of ramifications if they decided to do that.
I mean, this one in particular is very DSP coded, isn't it? Like, pay for my groceries, essentially, is what's being asked for here.
They'd have to do it for everybody and all that. The concern is, and I will show you real quick, here's our hotel room. We have literally a mini fridge. That's it. That's what we have to live out of. So yesterday was our anniversary, so we went out to eat anyway. And I just kind of chalked that up. But, I mean, it's like $50 to $60 a day to go out to eat. And it's not, even if we started getting...
$50 to $60 to go out to eat? Do you not have, like, a fucking sandwich in a shop you can just buy? What are you on about, dude? What? How does it cost you $50 to $60 a day to eat? Just go get a sandwich, bro. You don't have a sandwich shop over there? What the fuck, bro?
Frugal, it's going to be 20 to 25 bucks a day to feed two people for 2 meals, because breakfasts are provided by the hotel, and we've been taking advantage of that. If you have the means...
Bro, load up on breakfast, right? Eat a lot of breakfast, and eat a lot of, like, fiber-based stuff so you feel full for a while. And then you can eat later, and you can probably get away with, like, a brunch-esque breakfast, maybe as late as possible, and then you can have a meal later, and you'll probably be fine. I don't think he's on a vacation. I think there was some sort of issue, I guess, why he's in an apartment. Well, no, to be fair, he's in a hotel room, so I don't think, you know, the problem here is sure, you probably can't cook because you're in a hotel room for some reason, but you can still feed yourself for cheaper than that, even if you're like eating out, right? You can just go and get ready-made food from the store, like a sandwich or something, and you'd be able to survive for a few days, right?
I am asking for your help. I will include Cash App and Venmo on this video.
Of course you will.
It would be a huge blessing if you guys could send us just a couple of bucks to help out with food for the next couple of days. I also know it's the holidays, and don't feel obligated if you don't have funds. That's not what this is about. I pray for us too, because that's just as effective and helpful, and I want you to understand that I'm grateful for those things. So anyway, all of that said, appreciate you guys. Keep praying. If you do have a couple bucks, again, there will be some means to do that in the post with this, and just kind of go from there. Love y'all. God bless you.
Bro, it's just so, like, God, yeah, it's horrible to think about. I couldn't do this. Literally begging for money to eat. I mean, just go sit at the side of the road with a fucking can at that point. Absolute long-housed shirt, yes. Be nice to me, my wife is pregnant. Yep. Oh. Oh, we just saw this one. We just saw this one.
How do I make money off depressed people?
A smart man once told me to never blast in anyone poorer than you.
So wait a second. Wait a second. So he had some problems with the car. They got towed and they had to fix it. This was in February 27, 2023. And then there's another one here from December 2023 where the car needs repairs.
Life is difficult, and you shouldn't do it alone. Find Christ, find friendship, and find community. This is so when life hits the fan, you can pray to a God who sent his son to die for you, you can cry on a friend's shoulder, and so that when practical help is needed, you can lean into community. We are in the place of needing that practical help. Our car needs $1,350 worth of repairs. If you can help, the options are listed here, or you can find them below. Life.
I mean, this is just like outrageous behavior to me. I don't know, man. I don't get it. I think it's like very shameful to put this emotional pressure on the audience to get out of a shit situation. I mean, he is just he was, at least, I don't know if he's still doing it, but he was a prolific e-beggar. I mean, well, this is from December, so not even fucking, you know, that long ago. The Christ stuff feels a bit off as well, no? I'm not religious, so I don't know, but it just feels a bit off, leaning on the Christ shit in this too. Fucking hell.
The things that I say after that, I say everybody in this community aligns on that, regardless of our individual differences and beliefs. We all agree that life is way too difficult to do alone. My personal encouragement is 3 parts. I won't go into the first 2 as much because they aren't as relevant.
I've got this point of view that allows me to use my platform that ostensibly was to entertain people. I can then use that to e-beg for charity purposes for myself, and my views make that okay. That's what it comes across like to me, especially after watching those videos. Thank you for sending them, by the way. It's so manipulative. Yes, it's so manipulative. Because, yeah, you are building an audience off of your entertainment factor and you're creating a parasocial connection with that audience. And then you're taking advantage of that to present the idea that you're poor and need help in order to capitalize on that. It just feels wrong to me. I hate it.
Whatever the word is, to your question, but I want to make sure they're in here because it'll make more sense in context. My 3 things I recommend to them is to find Christ because of my faith, find friendship, and find community in that order. And I tell them this is because when life hits the fan, you can go through these 3 pillars and you're less likely to spin out of control in your life. But the community one, I go into a very specific part where I say it is more, community is there for when you need practical help.
Okay, dude. Okay, so he is equating like your local community where you have like community-based connections and you know each other and you look out for each other in like a little village or street or something. And he's comparing that to an internet community where people are watching you because they find you entertaining and they might throw you some money because they want to support your, you know, entertainment stuff that you're doing. Just feels like he's you know, misunderstanding or attributing the community that you build online to being the same as the community you have in the real world. Community equals retards who give you money when you beg. Fucking hell, dude.
A large scale. Maybe you need your rent paid. Maybe you need food on the table. Maybe you've just lost your job and you're really trying to scramble and figure out what to do for the next like 3 days so you can get yourself on your feet. That is where community comes in. And community looks different depending on who you are. For me, I'm a Christian. I belong to a church locally. That's where I go first. If there's anything that's gone wrong in my life, I reach out to my local church because I'm involved with them. I serve in their church. I've tithed to the church. Like these things are all.
Yeah, I know people like this who live on charity and give money they don't have for charity. It's mental behavior. Yeah, dude, I think this, I've seen stuff like this before. It's like almost like an industrial complex of a group of people on the internet, and they all just support each other's GoFundMes. It's like a fucking, cyclical thing of they all just give money to each other all the time. Kind of crazy. Do a GoFundMe and then take some of that and give it to the next person doing a GoFundMe.
Part of my life, but not everybody's a Christian. I know that. So what does community look like for others? Well, sometimes that's your neighbors. It's less commonly that these days because like your neighbor knocks on your door, you think you did something wrong these days. It's not usually because you need like some salt, right? Like you could like 40 years ago. But community, I think in the modern context is best exemplified in most people's minds when there's a natural disaster. Think like Hurricane Katrina, any of the recent, hurricanes are a big one, really nasty tornado systems, right? That knock out towns, that take out buildings, and the surrounding communities that weren't affected come in to help their neighbors because it's the right thing to do. It's community, it's taking care of each other. No one's asking for money. The people showing up are not typically like, all right, I need money to help cover my diesel I just drove here. They just came to help. And because there's so many people, it cost each person 30 or 40 bucks to drive in this, maybe not literally, but stick with me in the concept here. And there were 1,000 people who came out. When you realize that 1,000 people came out, they may have spent $40 to $50 in fuel getting to.
Okay, but the other problem with this kind of analogy too is like a natural disaster happens beyond anyone's reasonable control. Like the individuals in the community are not responsible for that happening to them, right? And there's no reasonable action that they could have taken in order to circumvent that, right? Whereas if your car breaks down and you can't afford to pay for it, well, that's a failing on your part. You were fucked up somewhere along the line that you either A, your car has not been serviced or something, so it's fucking broken, or you've not set aside money with a mindset that it might break and you might need an emergency fund. So it's like, well, that's your fault, isn't it? You fucked up. You've not managed your finances as an adult correctly. So I don't really think an act of God is equivalent to, you needing money or you not being able to figure out how to feed yourself on a, small amount of money or something like that, Also, this business of going out, how much did that cost? Dude, what the fuck? He was talking in that other short, we went out for dinner. Well, how much did that cost you? Maybe you should have budgeted a bit better so that you had more money to spend on your other meals if times are tough,
To and from their location, it's 50 grand. It's a lot of money. That's a huge amount of money. But because that many people just took it upon themselves to help out, no one thought of it because it didn't hurt them as much. If you go to your 2 or 3 closest friends, on the other hand, after a hurricane, you say, hey, can you come help my city? We need like 50 grand in help. And your 2 or 3 friends are like, man, if I was a millionaire, I'd do it in a heartbeat, but I'll help you because I like you. Like, what can I do for you? I can't do anything like that, right? So coming back to the context of the e-begging, I've heard that it's not as common. That's why I haven't really addressed it. But it is definitely not e-begging. Even during that week.
Yes, it is. It is definitionally e-begging. That is exactly what you're doing. Bro! It is definitionally e-begging. How could you deny it? We've just watched the clips. It is definitionally e-begging. We just watched the clips of it.
There were additional incentives on my live streams. It wasn't just, please give me money or I'm going to fall.
No. Wait, hang on. This is cope. This is total cope. If it was just additional incentives, fair enough. That's not e-begging because you're providing something. The e-begging comes in when you're introducing some sort of emotional pull as to why people should give you money that they might not otherwise give to you. You're talking about your car breaking down or something like that. That's what makes it e-begging. It doesn't matter what fucking incentives you got on your stream then, because that is the fundamental aspect of the e-begging that you're doing.
Part, it was like, hey, if you send or ship support in this amount of money, this thing happens on stream. I took hot sauce shots on stream at one.
Bro, he's just this. Okay, this is actually very dishonest from him. This is very disappointing. This is the only point now I'm like, okay, this isn't just haha, isn't he funny? Like, this is actually egregious to be this fucking dishonest about it. You know? The thrust of it was not, I'm going to do funny stuff on stream because I'm short on cash. It was, please give me money, I'm in a desperate situation. And give me a break. I'll play the clip. I'll play one clip again.
Hey, what's going on, social media family? David here. Just wanted to let you know.
Also, this is on his Twitter. This is a self-contained message to his Twitter, including ways that you can support him. What the fuck has this got to do with stream, you lying wretch? This has got nothing to do with stream. This is you going onto Twitter and e-begging on Twitter. Nothing to do with your stream. Total cope bullshit from this guy.
Have a need. If you guys can help, great. If you can't, please do not.
He's
feel
a liar.
obligated.
He's
I want
fucking
that up at the
lying.
very beginning of this. We have a car that is broken down. I'm going to get towed in the morning to a mechanic to find out what's wrong with it. I know that mechanics troubleshooting is roughly $130, I believe, $130 an hour, which is pretty average. And then obviously we still have to repair it. What we think it is the fuel pump at this point. Pretty much all signs point to that. And those can range anywhere from $220 to $700-800. I have no idea what it would cost to repair. What I'm asking is whatever you have the dollars to help with, we would appreciate it at this point. I don't ask unless I absolutely need it because I hate asking, to be honest with you, but I'm going to. So if you guys can help, great. There's Cash App, Venmo, and a few other options there. So if you have the means, please do. If you don't, please do not feel obligated to help.
And also, the thing with the stream, this is e-begging, unquestionably. Also, with the stream, look at the stream thing. What fucking bullshit that is as well. Look at this. Let's wait for him to mention all the extra cool things he's going to be doing on stream to justify this, shall we?
Hey, Twitter. You guys know I don't put out videos like this very often, and yes, it's the fact that I'm going to be live, but hold on, don't click away yet. This is very important. This is the closest to a stream emergency that I have had since I've been streaming. I really need your help, Gamin fam. This is a big deal. I'm going to give you guys some more details when you come hang out on the stream, but I'm going to be live in an hour. Twitch.tv/Gamin4God, and I need you there. And I also need you to bring your wallets.
Yeah, man, I loads of extra got. Obviously, not the thrust of this, is it? The thrust of this is I'm desperate, I need your money. E-begging.
As horrible as that is to say, I'm currently stranded. I'll give you more details on the stream. I love you guys tremendously. I really need your help. Again, that's twitch.tv/Gamin4God at 1:30 p.m. Central Standard Time.
Bro, it is outrageous. It is totally outrageous to sit here and act like this isn't e-begging or that, well, I did extra things on my stream. If that was the focus, if it was like, guys, I'm doing a stream, I've got loads of extra cool stuff lined up today, so come along, we're going to have a great time. What can you say? That's fine, obviously, no problem. It's the fact that he's front and center making it about, I'm in a desperate situation, bring your wallets. What the fuck, dude?
Point. I had a Bob Ross wig. I was going to do a Bob Ross painting stream at a certain point. Like, this was all like, think of like what most streamers do as a normal fundraiser for another company, but it was for me and it was very openly for what we were doing. And it was specific. It was always, this is what we are doing with the money. Every single person who's ever contributed to me financially in any of those times, if they have ever asked, and if they ever do ask, hey, where'd that money go? I can give them a receipt. They'll know. Hey, this is the exact dollar amount that I received from all of this. Here's your receipt. Because I don't have anything to hide. I don't care. What I won't do, on the other hand, is post it on the internet because I don't see a reason for that. Because if the internet wants to be critical of it from a distance, they're welcome to. The people that actually poured out financially to help are the ones that I think are owed that receipt. Because they literally took money out of their pockets to do it. They have every right to ask me to show them that.
Well, hang on a sec. No, that's not fair. That's not fair. That's not on. Because, you know, this idea, I mean, obviously, you know, you don't want to get into a position where you feel like you owe and you reveal a bunch of stuff about yourself, obviously. Right? But you were putting out public messages about this. So I don't think it's reasonable to just say, oh, it's only the people that support me that do this. Like, you were putting out public messages that you need help. And I do think it diminishes your credibility if you're not willing to provide proof or evidence broadly that that's happened. Because you're claiming that you need this thing, you know. And then if you don't even provide evidence to broadly that you've done it, well, obviously people are going to start to reasonably question your credibility and whether you could be trusted on these matters, you know. I mean, this is just very, like, yeah, it is very DSP. I'm pretty sure DSP even does the same thing, where he claims that he's doing these extra things in order to benefit the stream. But the reality is, the main thrust is, give me the money, give me the money, give me the money. I'm desperate, I'm desperate, I'm desperate. Oh, and if we hit a goal, I'll chuck a wig on or something. Doesn't he do, like, exactly the same fucking mentality with this stuff?
And I'm happy to do it.
So I guess to the second part of this question is, some have even looked into your history of asking for financial help and have concluded that you are a grifter. In other words, someone who uses deception to get money from others. They use examples such as the frequency in which you have asked for financial help in the past, you're bringing up faith in those conversations, claims that without assistance, you couldn't do content creation, as well as past automobile ownership frequently changing to show how you are quote-unquote grifting your audience.
The big one for me was claiming that you can't do content creation. So you're taking something that your audience obviously enjoys, which is you doing content creation, and making what I think is a completely false claim that you can't do the content creation if you don't get financial support, right? Like, I cannot do that. Like, you literally can make content, right? Obviously, if it gets to a point where it's not financially viable, that's on you to manage and go and get a fucking job if you need to, right? But the idea that you put pressure on your community to give you money or you stop making content is outrageous to me.
Bring your wallets.
Because you literally can. You literally can. It just might not be financially viable, and then you've got to figure out how you patch the gap, whatever you choose to do, you know? Thank you for the super chat, Ollie. Appreciate it. Thank you.
What would you say to those who believe you are a grifter?
Show me the proof. Don't look at the circumstances. It's very easy to look at all of the circumstances like you just listed. And
well, the thing is, it's difficult to prove a negative that you can't do content creation if you don't get the money. Really, it's on you to evidence that your claim that you can't do content creation without getting paid is legitimate. Like, how can you prove, you know, you can only work off like the logic of it, that you can literally make content without getting money through the door. It just might not be financially viable. But then you make the content and hope you get the support. And if you don't, you figure it out. And also, I mean, obviously, we just watched the clips as well. There are obviously reasonable questions to ask about the economics of what he was presenting too. So, yeah, I don't know, man. It just feels like he's asking for proof. And it's like, well, you know, it's difficult for us to prove conclusively that you are a grifter. It's also a subjective analysis. But there's certainly pieces of information out there that suggest that you are dishonestly presenting situations that would suggest you are grifting by lying in order to solicit money from your audience. So that points to you, that you know, I think one could reasonably conclude that. And it's like, you're then saying, well, show proof. I think you probably just got to accept that people might see you as a grifter, and that's that, you know? But anyway.
Assume and fill in the gaps. The reality is, it's a stretch. It didn't happen. I'm going to outright say it. Not a grifter. It's not what I do. There are people who abuse faith, especially Christianity, to get money. I'm very familiar with that. Your Joel Osteen is a very prominent figure who is a multi-millionaire, has many private jets, and there's others even that were quoted from the pulpit.
Okay, well, it doesn't. Okay. The amount of money that you make doesn't determine whether or not you're a grifter in terms of how successful you are. You could be an unsuccessful grifter.
Saying, if I don't get this new private jet, I'm not going to be able to make it to next month. It's like, your other one's still running, first of all. Second of all, that's really weird for you to talk about from behind the pulpit. So I understand that people see the circumstances. I'm okay with people going, that doesn't add up. But instead of asking, like you are, which I appreciate, they're assuming. They assume and fill in the gaps and never bother to reach out. And that in and of itself is a whole societal issue we can get into for the rest of the time we're talking. We won't, because that's not respectful to you. But
well, yeah, I mean, most reasonable people are going to look at your behavior, actions, and comments and come to conclusions off the back of it. It's absurd to think they've got to reach out before they can think that you're a grifter. I mean, what the fuck is this shit, dude? No, there is enough out there for people to reasonably make this kind of thought process about you.
it is a very big problem. So to answer the question very directly, I'm not a grifter. Certainly not a grifter. The frequent car changes is a very interesting accusation. I would be very curious to see which ones they're referring to, because every single car purchase I have made in the last 5 years, there was a very strategic reason for it. They were never upgrades. It was never like I went, I need a nicer car and I have all this money. I'm going to go get this nicer car. It was never that.
I mean,
Not
yeah, he probably thinks he's not a grifter. I mean, you don't want to think that you're a grifter or you're doing something wrong. But the frequency of them, the invocation of religion, the fact that seemingly you're telling tall tales that you can't do certain things if you don't get the support that you're asking for. I mean, yeah, I don't think it's that crazy to say.
at any point. And there.
And also, dude, this car thing, I can't remember the car analysis. There was some criticism about his cars. I can't remember it exactly. But I mean, you know, I would certainly question the sensible running of his household finances with all this car shit knocking about. And then he constantly needs, well, through 2023, it seemed like he constantly needed support to repair his car as well.
Try and point that out, but it's never going to happen because it wasn't there. So the car thing is easy to axe. When I bring up my faith, I don't use my faith as a way to manipulate people into sending money. There are times where I talk about my faith in Christ, knowing he's going to provide for me in the context of finances, because usually when I'm doing that, I'm dealing with my own issues where I'm going, man, what if I don't?
No. Okay, the Christ thing, I think the idea is that you're tugging a little bit on potential Christians by talking about the Christ stuff, because you're trying to tap in to what presumably would be some sort of seeming obligation to support someone in need. So it's like you're tapping in to hopefully someone that's into Christ being like, oh, this guy needs help, I'll help him because that's what I've got to do as part of my faith. So it's kind of like if you're mentioning Christ whilst you're asking for money, I think that's just an unavoidable consequence that you're going to be getting into with that. Yeah, you're trying to tap into Good Samaritan shit. Exactly.
Like, what if nothing happens? And I think that that's kind of the big thing. And it's like, I don't want to use my faith as the reason that people want to support, but I want them to know that I firmly believe that even if I don't receive a dime from it, then I know God's going to provide. So people will see that, take it out of its context, and say, oh, he's using his faith. No, I'm really not. I'm just saying that's how I feel. You guys can think what you want. And then so far as, so it was faith, the car changes. There were two other things you specifically pointed to, and I want to make sure I address them. What were the other two things?
There was frequency in which you've asked. And I guess bring up faith.
Yeah, the frequency thing I think matters too, because it's kind of like, I think you can understand like a one-off small thing. A one-off humble, listen guys, I'm really up shit creek. Even I, with my skepticism about this Ebgging shit, would probably be like, oh, whatever. You know, you want a little bit of cash for some emergency. But the fact that you're constantly having to fucking, or I say constantly, you know, there were times where it seemed like at least twice a year you were turning around to your audience and pleading poverty. Well, it seems like it's not just a one-off emergency. It seems like you're hoping that your community is going to plug the holes of your bad financial planning or your, you know, at the time maybe not working or something like that. So the frequency, I think, matters as well.
Conversations, you couldn't do content creation and automobile. Those were the four.
That was they couldn't do the content creation. Any creator who tells you they can do content creation without their community supporting them is lying to you.
Okay, this is so wretched and dishonest, bro. Right? The claim is not that you can do content without, like, okay, dude, this is like multi-layered, dude. This is like fucking multi-layered, okay? The point is, you can make content without support, and the idea is you make the content and then hopefully people support you. And if you can't make ends meet, that means it's not financially viable and you've got to do something about that. Okay? Right? The idea is that you are saying, I can't make content unless I get financial support, please support me. Right? That is the point that it's a grift. Because you literally can make the content, it just might not be financially viable, but that's a you problem to sort out. It's wrong to go to your audience and claim, you need to give me money or I can't do content, because you're putting pressure on them to provide the money to you so that you can make the content that they enjoy. It should be the other way around. You make the content, people support you. If they don't, it's not financially viable. You sort that problem out. It's the difference between doing a stream and being like, you know, appreciating people supporting you, right? Or even asking and say, hey guys, if you got a few dollars, feel free to super chat, it's appreciated. Versus if I was sat there at the start of the stream going, guys, I've literally received no donations yet, okay? And I cannot do this and I cannot stream unless you give me money. So I really need you to give me money before I can continue this stream, right? Please give, because otherwise I can't do, right? That's the difference. the Xanderhall thing. Complaining about not receiving enough donos and shit like that. Yeah, the Xanderhall thing's a great example of this. You know? And the thing is obviously, as a creator, there's some days that are better than others, and some days you get more support, and some days you get less support, and you just fucking do your stream as normal, and you continue on. You know, you don't fucking make it this awkward moment where you're like, oh, I've only got $5 today, guys. Oh, dear, that's bad, isn't it? Like, dude, just fucking do your business. And then it will fucking come out in the wash, and over the month it will settle, and you'll make enough money to support yourself. Or you don't, and it's not financially viable, and you got to get a job. That's that.
Off depressed people.
Oh, okay. Here you go. Hope you can.
Thank
continue.
you for the super chat, Flip Flop. You are basically creating this entitlement that you ought to be able to make content and be paid for it definitively. You know, and that's that. It's like, no, it doesn't work like that. You make the content, and if it's financially viable, great. If it's not, you sort it out. Like, it's not to say that you can, it's not saying that obviously to be financially viable, you are obviously going to be reliant on a level of support. It's about the explicitly asking for it that's the problem, and making and doing it in the way that he's done it. Bring your wallets. Bring your wallets.
They couldn't do the content creation. Any creator who tells you they can do content creation without their community supporting them is lying to you. Even at a certain scale, ad revenue, particularly for gaming creators, is abysmal. It is not good. You can be the most PG.
This is bullshit as well. This is total bullshit. This is total fucking bullshit. Right? Dude, I don't, obviously, bit gauche. But, think of my channel. I could assure you that, the ad revenue is not an issue. Ad revenue is not an issue. This ad revenue cope shit from people is nonsense, right? It's about, like, YouTube want you to make ad money because they make ad money off of that. So they want to monetize as much as they can. You need to be quite extreme for demonetization and videos not getting monetized to be a significant issue that negatively impacts you. Right? Even I am able to get the vast majority of videos monetized. And obviously DK has to do edits and stuff. But, like, this is ridiculous. And also, on streams, it's not a problem, right? Because you earn money from ads that run on the stream, and that's secured, even if it gets demonetized later.
And do content creation without their community supporting them is lying to you. Even at a certain scale, ad revenue, particularly for gaming creators, is abysmal. It is not good. You can be the most PG Minecraft streamer ever, and you're still not making much from ad revenue. Even your Captain Sparkles of the world, I can promise you.
This is bullshit. This is absolute nonsense. Dude, this is fucking nonsense. This isn't true. It's about the amount of views you get, and that fuels how much ad revenue you get. This is nonsense. Dude, Minecraft streamers are fucking raking it in off ad revenue.
The majority of his revenue is not from ad revenue. It is from his support of his community, whether that's through direct support, buying stuff from affiliate links or whatever the case may be. Anybody who tells you that it's ad revenue only, if they tell you that and can prove it, they are a one-off, and they are
Bro, this is deceptive. There is not a person that is arguing you should just be reliant on ad revenue, or that creators, but creators should only rely on ad revenue. It's fine to get support from your community. It's fine to have a Patreon, whatever. It's about the way that you do it and the emotional manipulation to solicit support. The idea that you can't do content unless you get the support. That's the problem. That's the issue. But he's misrepresenting it and lying about it to try and get around being the disgusting, wretched little fucking e-beggar in denial, coping like crazy.
the exception, not the rule. So that's a big one. So when I said things like, I really appreciate the support, I couldn't do this without you guys, it is a genuine, heartfelt thank you.
Bro, no one has a problem with, dude, he's such a liar. Bro, okay, this is now turning me into more of like a fucking hater, okay? This is bullshit. He is lying. He is lying through his fucking teeth here, okay? One, he's done more than just say thanks for the support, okay? And two, no one is complaining about being thankful for the support you get. No one. No one is going to take an issue with that. Literally no one is going to take an issue with the creator going, hey guys, thanks for your support. I really appreciate it. Bro, dude, I feel like, I know I've played this twice already, but dude, this is so dishonest. It's fucking wretched. He's just fucking lying through his teeth, bro. Yeah, this is just thanking people for support, guys.
Hey Twitter, you guys know I don't put out videos like this very often, and yes, it's the fact that I'm going to be live, but hold on, don't click away yet, this is very important. This is the closest to a stream emergency that I have had since I've been streaming.
This is outrageous
I
behavior.
really need your help, Gamin fam, this is a big deal. I'm going to give you guys some more details when you come hang out on the stream, but I'm going to be live in an hour, twitch.tv/Gamin4God. And I need you there. And I also need you to bring your wallets, as horrible as that is to say.
How is that just thanking people for support? You are explicitly asking them, I'm in a bad spot, give me money, or I'm fucked.
It's not a guilting more people into giving me money thing. It's a, hey, I'm really thankful, and I couldn't do this without you. I really appreciate it.
Bro, he's lying. He's literally lying about what he's done. He's fucking lying. He's a liar. He's a wretched little liar. Dude, this is a lie. He's lying. This is not just thanking your community for support. This is wretched.
The other part of it, in as far as the frequency of doing it,
Fucking wretched, man.
I'd be curious to see what people say is frequent. The frequency that I'm aware of is I did it for a full week most recently. That was to try and push out of debt. We had a car loan, which is now paid off largely because of the community.
I ended up agreeing more with Harmful towards the end of the video. Anyway, I thought he was a grifter. He is a grifter. He's a fucking 100% grifting little freak. Bro, he's literally lying about what he's done in order to make his case seem more reasonable in this interview.
And I think the time before that was probably right around the time I got into a car accident. It would have been around December, January, I think. So every 6 months, if that's frequent to people, I could understand why they'd see it that way. But it was truly a very unfortunate set of circumstances.
And the thing is, the sad thing is, I don't even think he does it anymore. Like the last clip I saw there was from 2024. Perhaps there's more. Perhaps there's one to come. I don't know. So he's got every ability to just say, listen, I recognise my behaviour was unacceptable. I was e-begging. It was like nasty. I was being manipulative, etc. He's got every opportunity to do that, but instead he's just coping and acting like he didn't do anything wrong and lying about what he did as well.
We got in the car accident. That set off a whole chain reaction of things because of some other changes I had made in my life at that time. And I was very transparent about that with my community at the time. Hey, got in a car accident. I was driving rideshare in that car. That was how we were paying the bills. And I either go get another 9 to 5 or I can try and make this work. So I talked to my wife and she's like, let's give it 3 months, see what happens. It didn't work. So I went and got a job. That's okay. When neither of us, again, failure, it's okay. There's nothing wrong with failing. It's what you learn from your failures that matters. So it didn't work. We didn't pay a bill late and we were okay. Life is good. Everybody was fed. The kids are taken care of. What more do we ask for? Right? We're good. So yeah, I think that those accusations, probably the reason I haven't really even responded to them, even in that video, was because I'd heard them, but they were so infrequent, number one. And number two, they were so outlandish that I just kind of ignored them, to be honest. So,
Yeah, see, the grifting thing, I'm not necessarily, I don't want to say I'm for it or against it. I'm probably more on the fence here. Like the content creation thing, I think what they used, I don't want to say out of context, but the understanding was like, I think it might have been whenever you had your setup in a
Okay,
different
that's
person's
wonderful.
house
But
and
how
then
do
you
I
couldn't
make
go to it. I
money
think
off
maybe
depressed people?
there was a
Whoa.
tweet or something.
Gamin4Hope needs me? Okay, I'll do it. I'm going to bat for you, Gamin. I got your
Thank
back,
you for the super
Gamin.
chats. That's a strong fact. God, you guys are come on. Come on, gaggers. Come on now.
I did a lot of research. I think that could have been the context. So that's why I'm kind of on the fence with it. But the problem I have, and this wasn't listed in, the questions I gave you, so I hope you're okay to answer. I The Overwatch stuff, the people are just trashing on you because they think it's funny. The internet's the internet. I do think there are things that are genuinely worth criticism. Grifting, I can understand the point of view, but I'm not necessarily taking that angle. I'll just be honest. And again, I've already told you that my video is likely going to be negatively skewed. One of the biggest things is the outrageous generosity for me, because it kind of could tie into the grifting allegation, if you'd want to call it that. But what I think it could be, maybe this is very cynical, and please, like, tell me if I'm wrong. I worry that back then, because you just mentioned ad revenue is trash. That's a fair assessment. But back then, when you made that video, I think it was, I don't know, 2022. You said, hey, half of my revenue from Twitch is going to go into outrageous generosity, and then you use that hashtag.
Wait, what? What? He said that? That is outrageous. That statement is outrageous. Let alone the outrageous generosity. What the fuck, dude?
Multiple times throughout the TikToks, and then you stopped using it at some point. I think you took a break or something, and then you stopped using it. This is all fine, right? I'm not necessarily.
Okay, that's wonderful.
Bro,
How do I make
he's
money
gagging
off
him.
depressed people?
Guys, where are the wallets? Chud needs you now more than ever. Very unfortunate.
Thank you for the super chat. I appreciate it. Thank you. Bro, that is outrageous. That's once again worth claiming you're going to spend half your money on outrageous generosity and then quietly dropping it. And then Ebgging. Dude, what an outrageous fucking grifter this guy is, man.
Saying that, you must have done it. But my issue is that it seems like it could be because you wanted, like, the social credit that comes with that.
Oh,
I'm
Okay,
gonna
that's
be
wonderful.
Oh,
How do I make money
yes,
off
bro,
depressed people?
perfect terminology. Literally perfect terminology for it. Yes, thank you, Cassie Flocker, for the super chat. Exactly.
positive, and throughout that positivity, later on, cynically, I'm not making this causation here, but it could have led to people be more supportive of you. So what would you say to that?
yeah, I can totally see where you're adding that up. Like the idea that if I'm saying, hey, half my Twitch revenue is going to go to outrageous generosity, people are like, oh, I should sub to this guy. And they start spending more money. And then I never do the generosity. I just pocketed money. I can see the math, right? I can, if it's math for metaphorical sense,
He's got him here.
I can see that. What I would say to that is, at that time, and I don't remember when I released that video, and because things have changed so many different times throughout my content creation time, where I've tried to be more full time and then less full time, and that part has been like back and forth in my mind. That's not been anybody's fault. That's on me. But I'm wondering if that was during a time where I worked at a financial institution well, actually, I worked at two of them, and I could see a world where during those times that I was like, oh, I
Bro,
could just do.
that's all well and good, but did you update your audience and tell them that wasn't happening anymore, or did you quietly drop it and not clarify that? Like, dude, it's so obnoxious. Well, if your circumstances change and you've sold your channel on the idea that you're going to give half your revenue away to outrageous acts of generosity, you probably need to tell your audience if your circumstances change. They don't assume that's going to continue to happen.
do that because I don't really have the need for the revenue. And then when that shifted and we had a need for the revenue, I stopped using the hashtag, stopped talking about it, but never really made an outright announcement to change anything because
Right,
even
there
when
we
I was
go.
doing that, if we
So there we go. Exactly. You quietly dropped it and didn't clarify. Dude, well, this guy's fucking... Dude, that is so... What a wretch. What a total wretch. Just quietly dropping it. When you've, you know, built credibility and got and tried to garner public positive attention off the back of being generous.
we could find
Dude, he's gagged him. He's literally gagged him.
the date, and if you send it to me,
I,
if you
I,
can.
I actually have it. I actually have it.
Oh, okay,
The-
yeah, hit me.
Yeah,
with
yeah, it
What's
was
the
in my
date?
notes. Sorry, I had to look. It
No, you're fine.
was April
Yeah.
22nd, 2022.
He's got it.
20.
He's got it. He's got it.
Let me do the math in my head here, so I got married
He's
to my
got
wife that year. Later that year, I wasn't married yet. Yeah,
Gagality.
I was working at a financial institution at the time. There was a local credit union. This is very honest, like super transparent, because I believe more transparency bears honesty. There was a local credit union. I don't even mind sharing who it was, to be honest with you, because I
Okay,
don't work
that's
there
wonderful.
anymore.
But
It was
how do I make money off depressed people?
The Great Gagging of 25.
Yes, indeed. Thank you. It is pup. Guys, listen, I know some of you were just calling him fat earlier and shit, but come on, dude. That's got to be worth a sub. That was great. That was actually really good. That was top tier. That was top tier gagging right there.
I was working for them for a while, and I, at the time, had just gotten a promotion and no longer needed the extra, like maybe it was $100 a month I was making at the time total.
So, dude, hang on a sec. This passed us by as well, didn't it? So,
Because I believe more transparency bears honesty. There was a local credit union. I don't even mind sharing who it was, to be honest with you, because I don't work there anymore. It was
bro, removing a segment due to oversharing with this guy. That just says everything you need to know about him, doesn't it? Oversharing IMO. Just to be safe, I've removed the audio and video for this portion.
I was working for them for a while, and I, at the time, had just gotten a promotion and no longer needed the extra, like maybe it was $100 a month I was making at the time total, if that. I don't know if it was even that. And I was like, oh, I could take like half of that and maybe just be outrageously generous with it. And then fast forward towards the end of that year. Now I don't know how long I used that hashtag for, but we ended up, my wife and I, kind of throughout that summer, had started talking about getting married, and I knew, because we'd been dating for a minute, she had a son before we were married. She had a son with another man. That's a whole story. But I knew that entering into the marriage, I was going to need a little bit more savings built up, because I wasn't just marrying my wife. I was becoming a father in the same stroke, like the same moment. It was all at once. And I wanted to make sure I was prepared. So I know that there was a certain point, and I don't know when that point was. I couldn't point to a date, right? But I started realizing that and went, okay, I actually probably should pocket as many dollars as I can right now. And I can tell you that if I went back to that date and showed before and after, the time
Okay, that's
that I was
wonderful.
using the
But how do
hashtag,
I make money
after that,
off
I could show you
depressed
kind of
people?
before.
Hey, thank you for the bits. And Matt, yeah, dude, also, this idea of outrageous generosity. Well, to be fair, in the Christian faith, there is obviously the idea from that parable that a pauper that gives away a single, scrap of gold is giving away more than a wealthy person that is giving away 1 million gold coins, right? So that could well be consistent within Christianity. But I mean, it is obviously to the layman or whatever. The idea that you're being outrageously generous. Here's $50. I'm going to be outrageously generous and give you some money. You'd be very disappointed if you got $50.
Before and after, I can almost guarantee you there wasn't even a 10 or 20% increase in revenue. It never really was utilized in a sense, and that wasn't my goal. It was just saying, hey, generally speaking, I think this is something I want to do going forward. It wasn't to spike more. It was to say this is something that I want to do with it, and I just wanted ideas. So
Okay, so your intent is like maybe you could take something that his intent wasn't to garner more money, but the point is people might have chosen to support you when they otherwise wouldn't because of the idea that you're going to use the money and pay it forward, and then to not update people that that's not going to be happening anymore. Well, it seems like that's something that you ought to do. I mean, to be honest with you, the correct thing to do here is not to fucking promise 50% of your revenue in perpetuity going forward, fucking for outrageous acts of generosity, right? Like, obviously, I would disagree with doing that anyway. But also, it's not just about the fact of like, oh, you didn't raise more money doing it. You are benefiting from a public perception angle by saying that you're going to do that. Imagine a business saying we're going to give a bunch of our fucking profits to charity, and they got a load of fucking positive press off the back of that. Right? That's the kind of element of this that he's not really considering. And then what if they decided to not do it anymore and they never fucking told anyone? They've benefited from the positive press, but then are not updating when things change. So they're just a kind of like casually benefiting from this idea that they're a very charitable organization when they're actually not anymore.
So that fell apart because I then needed the money regularly. Now, up until that point, I'm trying to remember if I ever got a payout while I was still using the outrageous generosity tag. Because, you know, for those that are unfamiliar, you may be familiar yourself, Gag, I don't know. But most platforms, Twitch and YouTube included, let's say I make money in the month of June. You don't get paid until the middle of the month of July for whatever you made in June. So I would be willing to say that I don't remember distinctly doing the math, but I'm willing to bet I didn't even get a payout. At the time, the payout threshold on Twitch, I want to say at the time it was $100. I could be wrong on that, but whatever the threshold was, I wasn't hitting it every month. So because I did, I'm willing to bet that if we went back.
So you were doing outrageous generosity with money you weren't even earning. Like, dude, this is just so ridiculous, man. I was promising to be generous with money that I wasn't making. I mean, dude, it's stupid, isn't it?
And look, that I didn't hit the threshold, and that I just went, okay, we did it for this length of time. It's no big deal. I just moved on. But I will also say this. I'm actually happy to look at that after we're off our call and conversation today, Gag. This is like full accountability. I'm willing to look back at that. And if I find that I'm just dead wrong and I made an error in judgment and like continued to, let's say that I made a payout that month as an example, right? And I just, okay, well, I needed the money. No, that's on me and I got to own that shit. And I'm happy to go back now and double it. So whatever it was, if it was $100, half of that would have been, you know, the Twitch revenue, half of that would have been 50. I'm happy to make $100 charitable donation wherever now and make that public because I said it publicly.
Okay. I mean, you know, that is commendable. If that happens, that's something. You think he's lying? Am I being too nice? Don't fall for it. I mean, he's making this promise on a tiny, like, channel, right? I mean, it's just like nothing really. Oh, look, Gag's giving us the inside scoop. I will say he hasn't done it yet to my knowledge. Right, okay. So, okay, let's rewind a sec and say, sounds good. Delivery obviously matters here. And is this another example of him trying to skirt around an issue by acting like a good guy or something? Okay. We gaggers will not forget.
Because my goal is never to be that guy. I don't want to be that guy. We even talked about it before he brought up the question. Because
Shelby, you're just trying to get timed out again. Because you're being very annoying again.
I don't want to be that guy. That's never something.
What's the problem with Ebgging, guys? Ebgging is based, actually.
I want to be painted as. I don't want to give anybody the idea that that's something I want to do. And if that's how it comes across, and especially if I look back then and I did in fact get a payout in that, you know, again, corresponding to that timeline we just talked about, where if it was, did you say it was April of 22 that I posted that? Is that right?
Yes. Yep.
Okay. So if April and potentially March, because again, if I didn't hit the threshold in March, it would have added into whatever April had. So again, I'm willing to take full accountability, go through the whole bit. If I got a payout in the month of May, whatever that payout was from Twitch, I'm happy to take that in half and double it. So basically, whatever, easy math, whatever the payout was, and do a charitable donation now, because that's an error in judgment and maybe even just a genuine space cadet moment. Because you can ask anybody who knows me personally, and I genuinely.
Dude, the frequency that this guy is pulling this fucking Ebgging shtick, and the fact he's so unwilling to admit that he was Ebgging, just makes me think this error of judgment shit is cope, I must say. Or it's just an accident, just a space cadet moment. I mean, Where would he have the money to double it? Well, I mean, yeah, obviously, I can't imagine he's got that much money knocking about. Although there is work in that now, isn't he? Also, yeah, outrageous generosity sounds like I mean, this is why it's so stupid to promise outrageous generosity when you're not even making money. Like, the idea is that you've probably got a lot of wealth already and you participate in that. Not, oh, if I manage to scrape by $100 this month, I'll give $50 and give some cops some donuts.
Genuinely don't remember crap. I have two people right now that are taking care of I have a guy who's doing my thumbnails on my YouTube channel and a guy who's editing for me. And I have a reminder in my calendar now, but before I did that, when I first hired them on, I wasn't used to paying anybody, right? I
Okay,
mean,
that's
I was
wonderful.
doing everything
But how do
myself.
I make
So I
money
didn't think
off
about the
depressed
fact
people?
that, yeah, they're
Overgrown
working.
baby has the mind of one. More at 7.
Count Slopula, thank you for the super chats.
You should pay them.
Bro, the thing is this is where, dude, you are making decisions that are making your fledgling content creation business unviable. You know, not financially viable. Because that is an expenditure you likely can't afford, right? I'm guessing. I mean, I don't know his finances, but I mean, how much are you paying these people? It's ridiculous. Like, get one person to do both and pay them like a negotiated reasonable amount for doing it, bearing in mind the size of your channel. Or if you genuinely think there's potential, then take money from your earnings and invest into this if you want or something. But I don't know, dude. It just sounds like you're not really in a place where you should be paying people to edit shit.
So it was like a duh moment. And one of them reached out to me, and it had only been a week. Like, it wasn't like I was waiting for weeks on end. And they were like, hey, when were we going to do the payout? Neither of us really talked about that. And I went, oh, right now, because I forgot. Sorry. And then I put a calendar reminder in my phone, and that was that. So anybody who knows me at all knows, and I'm incredibly forgetful. It's really important to
Dude,
think.
I didn't even think of this myself because I try to be quite timely when I pay people and stuff. But apparently, like, some creators are really bad with paying, and so like they have to be chased. And sometimes it's not even like they don't have the money. They've literally got millions of dollars, but they're just very unorganized. So editors will have to come to them and go, "Oh, can I have my money, please, for the work I've done for you for the last month?" So you know, it's very tough for people that do supplementary shit for content, like editors and shit, when it comes to getting paid sometimes. Yeah, it's like it's like being a contractor is just shitty sometimes, I guess.
Things. Maybe it's an undiagnosed.
I mean, I don't hate, I mean, you know, obviously I would say that it's on you to be more organized, right? I'm not sat here like super angry at him for like this particular point, but like, yeah, you should be more organized and have it in your diary or know the day and then fucking get it done.
ADHD, I don't know, but whatever it is,
Undone is ADHD.
I'm horribly forgetful. So it's very possible that's what it is. But I am happy to look at that, like I said, and I'll send you the screenshots. I think there may even be a way to look without having to look at like the month by month. I should be able to look at my payouts over that time and see when the most recent payout was following that video. And then we can have that conversation, because if it was in like freaking July or August, I probably just honestly didn't even think about it and just moved on because there was so much going on at that point. We were starting to gear up for a wedding later that year. There was so much going on. I wasn't even thinking about it. So I hope that makes sense.
Okay,
All right,
that's
Future
wonderful.
Gag here. I
But
just
how do
wanted to
make
put in the
money off
analytics.
depressed people?
Dave Ramsey says live like no one else so you can give no one else. Bro can't give like that cause he doesn't live like that.
Hey, thank you very much for $5. Appreciate that. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Yes. Exactly. Exactly. It's for people that are wealthy. Bro, this is wild. He's put in his fucking earnings.
That Gamin4Hope actually sent me from his Twitch that showed his earnings. He made $90.31. And this time span was from April 1st, 2022 to June 30th, 2022. This is the amount, the $90.31 that he is now vowing to send to charity. And he will show the receipt of that. I personally am not going to, dog on him to, show receipts and stuff like that. I think it's more of an accountability issue between, him and the general audience. I am bringing this claim up to him, and it is true that, and he even admits to this, that he did not do any outrageous generosity, at least in that time span that he used that hashtag. He claims earlier on that he did do outrageous generosity, but I guess you can discern what those two maybe contradicting statements mean in the grand scheme of things. But realistically, I just want to put this in here to, I guess, on my end, hold him accountable in this video. Okay, going back to the interview. I hope you're enjoying. Yeah, it does. Thank you for answering.
Yeah, I mean, dude, obviously you guys are like tearing his analytics to strips right now. I mean, yeah, he didn't stream very much, and dude, this guy is like, I mean, now he's got a bit of a burst of attention, so he is making more money. He's made like, the last time he showed his analytics, it was $600 across both YouTube and Twitch. But like, I mean, obviously, yeah, this is not going to do anything for you, is it? I mean, this is like fucking nothing. And I think the payout at the time was $100. So over the course of 3 months, he didn't even earn enough to get a payout from Twitch. I mean, Jesus Christ, dude. No, Gag's been great. This is actually very well done, very diligent, very well put together, very well. Yeah, I think this is a great video. Subscribe to Gag. Subscribe to Gag.
Okay, going back to the interview. I hope you're enjoying. Yeah, it does. Thank you for answering that. Again, that's probably one of the biggest criticisms I have. I think it's probably 3 or 4 major ones that I have. Again, a lot of it, like the internet has of you, is they're just messing with you, right? But I think there are some things that...
Oh my god, dude, and there's still more. Dude, he talks about his like family, post his family online. That's right up our street. That is right up our street.
Do require some explanation, and I'm glad that you are willing to answer that, and I very much appreciate it.
Yeah,
so
100%.
So
This
yeah.
This is may I take a quick side note, Gag? Is that okay?
Absolutely,
On this topic?
absolutely.
This is part of what I think people need to understand is exactly what you're doing right now. Now, not everybody, including myself, has time to sit. I mean, even you and I had to figure out a time to make this work, right? But having these conversations and even just reaching out, particularly to smaller creators, like at the time when all this controversy started, like I said, I was streaming for like 30 people. That's a lot of people for a lot of people, and I consider that to be a lot of people. I mean, that's the size of an average American classroom. It's a pretty large amount of people. But my chat doesn't move so fast that I wouldn't see a question. So if someone had said, "Hey, I saw this," I would say to them, and this is serious, I've had people ask me about my faith, and I either answer the question if it's a general question, right? Do you believe in Christianity? Yes. Easy answer, right? But if someone says, "So do you believe that the LGBTQIA plus community is X because of your faith?" I don't answer that on stream because there's too much nuance and way too many people can misperceive what you're saying. So I invite that person to have an offline conversation where it's just a one-on-one, and I tell them they're welcome to record it. I don't have anything to hide. It just makes it to where the context is a one-on-one conversation where they're getting the additional clarification they need, and we are not...
Bro, this is fucking obnoxious, man. Reach out to me for a private conversation that you can record. Like, dude, this is stupid. This is fucking stupid. No, I don't think people... I think people can, you know... Well, first of all, I think he's saying this, but then the people that are going to mock him for the LGBT takes, right? I think that is primarily going to be people that just want to troll with him and fuck him anyway. So it doesn't matter. They're still going to call him a bigot regardless of what he says. And they're not going to fucking reach out and have a conversation. But also, it's like, people are obviously going to make content about public... Dude, I fucking hate this idea that, like, it's somehow wrong to make commentary. Yeah, also, yeah, if you want to bait me into a call, here's how to do it. He's giving the game away for trolls. That is true. But also, it's like people are allowed to make commentary about things that you're putting out publicly. Like, of course, that's how the fucking game is played. That's how the internet is, you know? So if you don't want people to fucking speculate, I mean, people will do this anyway, but if you don't want people to pick apart your comments about fucking LGBT, and fucking stop talking about it if you don't want to get into it, you know? Stupid.
bogged down by many different eyes looking at us. It removes ego. It removes all of the crap that you normally has in those contexts. So I do think that I really want to encourage, and you can choose to put this in your video or not. It's your video, like I told you earlier. But I really want to encourage people to understand this, what you and I are doing right now, Gag. This is what will solve 90% of the world's problems, is having an actual conversation. Now, I'm not trying to claim that my controversy.
What's that? What, dude? This makes me think of this classic meme. This is what I feel like, honestly.
I don't want peace. I want problems, always.
Dude, this makes me think of that. That's how I feel about what I do, you know?
These are the world's problems. That's not at all what I'm saying. I'm just saying that this problem is much more deep rooted than what I'm dealing with. This is a global issue where we aren't willing to have a conversation and learn from each other and share information. We just want to
Bro,
assume
I'm
what
sorry,
we
not
wanna-
everyone is obligated to subscribe to this view that you've got to have conversations and figure everything out, okay? Obviously, if you're like, you know, it's reasonable. If you're on good terms with someone or friendly with someone, you might be willing to reach out and have a conversation. But you can't expect that from people that might just want to watch you and mock you and laugh at you and fucking troll you. Oh, please, no, don't troll me on the internet. Please contact me and I can explain to you my custom explanation for why I don't think LGBT are all sinners that are going to burn in hell, actually. And it's actually more nuanced than that. No, you're not owed that, dude. Get fucked.
assume and move on with their lives, and that is it creates such a toxic culture. I don't think anybody really wants that, if we're being honest with each
And
other.
also, yes, exactly, yes, brain rot logs. It is unscalable. You cannot scale this up. You know, this is the mentality of someone that's got barely any viewers. You cannot fucking have it where any fucking person that wants can come along and have a fucking private conversation with you as you continue to grow. It's untenable at the level he's at now. You will, especially with the schedule that he's got as well. You do not want to fucking tie yourself up talking to shitters offline. That is absolutely stupid behavior to engage in. Make public comments about what you want to make public comments on and let people fucking talk about it if they so wish. That's the best way to do this.
So yeah, I'm always willing to answer these kinds of questions. It may not always be on stream, and now it's even harder to answer them on stream because I may just miss the question altogether. But people will send me Discord messages, Instagram DMs, Twitter DMs. I try to check even the hidden ones every once in a while, usually once every couple of days. And if there's a question in there, I've had at least 2 conversations I can think of off the top of my head where people have said, "Hey, I saw this about you and I wanted to know your thoughts." And I was like, "Hey, you got 15 minutes? I can answer that. Can I call you?" Even if it's through Discord, even if it's through Instagram, please record it if you feel more comfortable. And I've had conversations with people because I'm that passionate about this. This is such a big deal. So thank you. I know you were thankful for me answering the question, but I am genuinely thankful for you asking it. It's not just me going, no, thank you for thanking me, for thanking you. It's a genuine, no, I appreciate this. This means more to me than I could ever express. So
That's awesome. And again, I am thankful because again, my channel has like 340 subscribers, way smaller. I'm a total nobody. You know, I reached out on Twitter. I think you missed it. Then I emailed
I
you.
probably did, yeah.
And you know, you answered, and I was pleasantly surprised. I thought maybe you were gonna ghost me, but you didn't. And again, I'm very appreciative because again, I'm gonna make the video.
You know
no
nobody
matter
else,
what,
Gag.
but I think a lot of these things not only help me understand better, but also will help an audience understand better. Because again,
Absolutely.
like, I'm not the only person who's made videos on you. Obviously, there's like the apply, yeah, but
385. Is it? Come on. It's 357 here, but it's off an old. Obviously, it doesn't update live. So go and subscribe. Come on. Let's at least get Gaggers to 500 subs. Come
you
on.
know, that
now.
was more of like a VOD review. That has really the
Yeah.
criticisms for the
It
game,
had
not
less
really
to do with
overall.
my criticisms outside of the game. Yeah, he definitely roasted my gameplay, rightfully so. But it was, yeah, he wrecked me. Which, I mean, honestly, fair. My Doomfist gameplay is abysmal. I don't blame him at all. But like, and my attitude was horrible, and that was the part that I took away from it. It was like, damn, I need to fix that, and I have since then. Like, I was like, I gotta own that. I don't know where this went, but I had that attitude of who cares about your teammates, just focus on you. And then somewhere that changed, and I've got to fix that. So yeah, no, you're absolutely right. Size of, man, I won't go on that rant. I'll say this a very, very short and simple statement because I think it's important to address, but I will not go on to a rant, I promise. Size of creator doesn't matter. The idea of what they want to create is what matters to me. If someone reaches out to me and says, I've got a brand new channel, but I want to create this video, and here's the idea, and if you wouldn't mind just being a part of it, I'd really appreciate that. There's a guy named, I think it's Sneeb. Um, he made a video, and he was talking about, I want to say the video was, I'm trying to remember now. Again, the ADD brain. He was talking about, I think, the rise and fall of AAA titles and stuff like that. And um, and a couple other
Sneed.
videos. He was doing a very like documentary style video, and he had just some questions he wanted to ask. It wasn't controversy or anything. It was just about my Overwatch journey and stuff. And he just like, hey, I'm basically a nobody, but and I'm like, yeah, don't lead with that. Everybody's a nobody until they're a somebody. Straight up. I know it sounds like cringy crap you throw on a bumper sticker, but like,
Oh my god, dude, it's so
seriously,
obnoxious, man.
no one knew who I was when I started. More people know who I am now. Sometimes it's not for the better, but some more people know. And I still don't let that go to my head because it's, if I stop serving them good content, why would they watch? So if you serve your audience good content, it doesn't matter if you have 300 or 400 subs on YouTube. Your content is serving an audience to the very best of your ability, and you're learning from every video and you're learning from everything you create.
Dude, fucking, I hate this, like, saccharine mentality, everyone matters shit, okay? No, that's not true. That's not the way this fucking platform works, okay? Viewership equals, like, attention, equals money, you know, and at the end of the day, it's, dude, it just feels very fake and phony, like I say, saccharine. You know, it's like, you really matter even if you've fucking got 200 subs or something like that. I don't know, I just find it very obnoxious. Yeah, toxic positivity, yes, that's a great word for it, exactly. I'm too irony poisoned to get it, yes, I am. When did Chud become so arrogant with his viewers? He forgot where he came from. Not everyone can orbit a bigger streamer. Dude, I don't feel like I am arrogant, right? I mean, I think it's very respectable that people are trying to make a go of it, and good luck to people that want to give it a go, you know? But I just think it's completely absurd to act like, you know, the idea of what kind of audience you can garner isn't like relevant to like your stated success or something, or your relevance on the platform, you know? I mean, there's people that are tiny channels about something really compelling and get shitloads of views because it's interesting to people, and that's great, you know? Dude, this happened before with the, what is it? Who was it? I can't remember. It was ages ago. When like you had these tiny streamers that were coming in and trying to tell people, there was I can't remember the name of the people. It's not really relevant that much anyway. But you know, there was this trend of people who basically just come into the content creation sphere and were trying to tell everyone how to do it and tell everyone the best way, and they haven't even fucking made a video yet. Chud has empathy for everyone. He even feels bad for people who chop up bodies. Lots of work. Yes, exactly.
You become somebody pretty quick because people notice when you're trying to put serious effort into your content. That's the end of my speech. Thank you for attending my TED Talk.
No, I think that's good insight. All right, so I have primarily just 4 more questions. Some of them I have follow-ups,
Yeah.
but I guess
Yeah, fire away.
some of the sentiment I see stems around you being potentially a lolcow. So my question is, some people look at you as someone who has the makings to be a lolcow. I don't know if you know what those are, but they say it. What would you say to that claim?
To be completely transparent with you, when you sent me that question, I was like, "What the hell is a lolcow? Am I old now? What is that?" I had to Google it. I'm not joking. I had to Google it. I'm like, "What is this? What do I even?" So, from what I've understood of a lolcow, basically someone that you can is just making it so easy for you to make fun of them that you can milk them for content. Um, I'm sure there's more to it than that, but for simplicity's sake, that's what I've understood.
Sure.
If all you can do is poke fun at somebody else for the cornerstone of your content, you're not a
Oh.
content creator.
Oh, bro. I'm
That's
not,
it. You're creating something, but it's not content.
bro. Gamin4Hope has just come up and ripped my stripes off my shoulder and said, "You're not a content creator." I don't believe it.
People can, and this kind of goes back to, there's a book, and I've referenced this a lot in the last few streams.
I'm
The book
raped.
is literally titled "The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck," and I love the title. It gave me so much of an
Gaming
intrigue.
won. He's won.
And one of the things it talks about is you have a certain amount of fucks that you're going to be able to give in your life. You have to decide what to spend those on. I choose not to spend those on what other people think about me, because you can't change what other people think about you.
Okay, this feels like, dude, you responded to some insane troll claiming that you were going to meet up with a 13-year-old boy. Now, maybe you've learned from that, and maybe you've changed. But I just don't really see how you can really, like, you know, claim this subtle art of not giving a fuck when you're responding to trolls claiming you're going to molest a 13-year-old. I mean, that's fucking ridiculous, dude. Or the idea that you groomed your wife, that's even more recent, you know? It's like, obviously you do care, and if he's learned that stuff you should ignore and you shouldn't engage with, and it only fucking negatively impacts you if you do decide to engage, fair enough. But I guess time will tell on that one. I guess time will tell.
You can't. Well, I mean, you can, but that's not worth doing. There's also a person named, well, most people know who he is. It's Tom Holland. It's the kid who played Spider-Man in the most recent Spider-Man stuff. He said, if you have a problem with me, text me. If you don't have my number, you don't know me well enough to have a problem with me. And I think that the people who are using me for laughs and content, they're welcome to do it. I just don't care.
Hey!
All right, all
Let's
right.
go.
A major criticism I have of your content and what you post on social media is that you include photos, videos, and personally identifying information of your family members. Why do you post so much, right, regarding your family? And do you see why posting so much can be an issue?
Let me ask you, because you mentioned the personal identifying information. I know I share photos of my kids, and I've talked about birthdays and stuff and their names, like their first names and whatnot. But what what specifically, like, personal identifying information? Can you give me an example? Because I'm not sure I
Yes.
understand what you're asking.
Okay, so probably one of my biggest positions about things on the internet is, especially with parents. This isn't the first time I've necessarily, I don't want to say gone after, but made a video on someone who was a parent. They posted their child's name, which just alone I think is not something parents should do, but made content off of them. I also disagree with that sentiment. Obviously, you can have a different opinion. We don't have to debate, right? But
No,
the
no, I know that's what you're
specifics,
looking for. Yeah.
the specifics of it is okay. Again, I did basic research on you. I'm not trying to sound like a creepy stalker. I
No, it's part of these videos.
yeah. I know. Again, please, it's gonna sound creepy. I know where you live. I know the city where you live. I didn't have to like look up like crazy shit about you. I didn't have to go on like a website to find it. Your TikTok. There's a TikTok of you showing the weather where you live. There are posts on your Twitter that have I think it was your first biological son or daughter. I don't know the sex, but their full name, first, middle, and last, and obviously post it on their birthday. So I can find out just without doing any more research or digging. I know the birthday and the full legal name. Obviously, I know people can deduce your wife's legal name but she's a part of your content, so I'm not even. That's like people are kind of
He's an
targeting
adult.
that too.
That's less of your concern, I think.
Yeah,
right
right.
now.
Yeah. You've made videos of your son and
Fucking hell,
with your stepson. I guess I should make that specific.
Oh, sure.
One. It's such a minor clip, like very, very brief clip of it. I'm not even gonna feature it in the video, but it does exist. In one of your days to becoming, a competitor, one of the 300. I think it was maybe towards the beginning because that's when you would feature your stepson. There's a part of it
Right,
where
quite a
he
bit.
just woke up. You know, you used to do, oh, I woke up my son today, then I did this, and then that, then I played, right? One of them,
Yeah, it was like a
you just woke him up, and it seemed like he was crying because you just woke him up, right? Kids cry all the time. He was probably
Oh,
moody from
no.
waking
Oh, yeah.
up. But
Bro.
the thing is, like, you included that. To be fair, it was like a brief, so brief that, like, I don't even, again, know if I'm going to even include it. Well, I'm not going to
No,
show
I
it.
don't even. No, guys. This is not weird. This is completely. I mean, it sounds ridiculous to say. It is totally reasonable to point out that he is sharing all this crazy information about himself, and all Gag has had to do. And Gag is not a malicious actor in this. Gag is not trying to fuck with him. He is literally just pointing out there's all this information that you've put out yourself about you on the internet. Like, look at all this stuff that I've seen on a looking at you without a malicious intent. Imagine if I did have a malicious intent, right? Like, imagine if you did have a malicious intent and you wanted to fuck with this guy. You've given all these tools to do so.
But I'm just saying, like, I wouldn't include the details.
Right, yeah, I know what you're saying.
But, you know, a sort of video of him crying, a couple frames, all of this together, I do not think is appropriate. And that's kind of what I'm saying about the personally identifying information. I know what your children look like. I don't think I should be able to find it. I can find out the birthdays of your children because you post them. Also, another thing that other people have pointed out, you also, and we talked about this briefly in the beginning of our call. I don't think I'd include that either, but you know, where we
I don't understand what's weird about it. This person's put a wealth of personal information that could be used to actually cause harm to him on the internet, and he's done it himself. It's not like someone's dug it up, he's put it out himself, and he's saying, hey, your ship, exactly like the ship thing, you got a massive hole leaking water out of your ship, you should probably fix that. What is wrong with that? He didn't put the hole there. Gamin4Hope put the hole there himself. He's pointing out that it's there and it's causing an big issue for him.
You go by your full, not your full, but your legal name, your first and last, which in of itself is also an issue. Someone like me would say. So I guess that's where I'm saying the personally identifying information.
Okay, that's wonderful.
It's very easy
But how
to
do I make
deduce
money
it, but also you
off the
post
people?
about it
G4L
frequently.
gets
Yes.
actual divine intervention.
Thank
from
you.
Gag.
Thank you for your $5. Smoky Guru, appreciate that.
Not frequently, but you know, on birthdays and things like that.
It's there.
Yeah,
Sure.
so I guess to reiterate my question, just because I went on a rant too, why do you post so much regarding your family, and do you see why posting so much can be an issue?
I can see where people have a concern about it. And actually, my wife and I have had a pretty serious conversation about it in the last, I'd say, 6 to 12 months. And you'll notice there's significantly less of that now. Especially from the research that you did, even in just the vertical videos, right? That you watched,
I will
there's a
100%
significant
agree.
difference.
Yes.
And it's because there was okay, that was stupid. Let's stop doing that. Plain and simple. Now, I'll
Fair.
admit the posting the full legal name, it was probably my middle daughter. Well, my middle kid. She's
Bro,
my
he
only
can't
daughter.
help himself. He literally can't
but-
help himself.
That was an oversight because I can guarantee you what happened is in the midst of being up really late, labor and all that stuff that happens when you have a baby. You're up for a while. Way worse on the person who's giving birth by a landslide, but the other person who's there to support, you're not sleeping much either. And I can guarantee you, I went to post to my personal Facebook to like my friends and family, and just copied and pasted the post because I don't mind sharing.
Oh my god.
I don't mind sharing some things with the internet. What I've learned
Bro,
is
Facebook is, like, as long as you've got your settings right, is more closed off, so only your friends that you've decided to accept can see it. Whereas putting on Twitter, you're basically putting on a big notice board that anyone can look at if they've got the link to do so, unless your account is private. But even then, you don't know potentially who's followed before you made it private. I mean, privates often get leaked. It's just, the issue here is just don't put it on the internet. Like, the world does not need to know all the ins and outs of your life like that. It's ridiculous. Even your Facebook friends don't need to know the ins and outs of what you're up to. It's ridiculous. There's some old school friend that you're not spoken to for years. Need to see a picture of your kid. I don't think so. Just share it have a group of people, like private DMs, a family, where you share pertinent stuff that's going to be of interest to them,
there are things you don't share with the internet. right? Like,
Yes.
there were things I knew you shouldn't from the beginning. Full legal name, yeah, that was an oversight, 100%. Sharing it on the birthday, probably not the best idea, but that's a gray area. I think without the legal name, it wouldn't have been as big of an issue. The city and state that I live in, a lot of people think it's not. You don't need to tell
Oh,
me where you think it is.
okay, okay. I will say that was what I pinpointed.
That's where you
Okay.
thought it was.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah, yeah.
I
Okay.
used the closest large city to me.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair. I
Yep.
was wrong on
and
that,
was,
but
and that was
yeah.
it.
Bro, the problem is if you start doing that, you can start to, like, it's like called data triangulation. It sounds like a gay term, but people can stitch together with various pieces of information that you give them, you know, and that's when you can start to get into a problem, because then they can pinpoint where you are, and then they can get your information. And you know, if they know where you are, they can like look you up on registries and stuff in the US. Potentially, there's somewhere you're like I think is it the voting registry is public or something? I don't know. But the point is like, you know, you really start to create these problems for yourselves the more that you share. Whereas you can just not talk about any of it. I mean, obviously, you know, no one is undoxable. You can be doxed, and you just got to do your best to make it as difficult as possible for people that might want to do that and try and fuck with you, you know? You think he's coping? Maybe.
And the reason no, it's okay. That's okay. It's really okay. A lot of people thought that. Um, and unfortunately, um, the reason I did that was actually, and I stopped doing that. And that was part of that same conversation with my bride, where she was like, we probably need to stop doing that, even though it's not the actual city we live in. If people figure it out, start doing maps. And then we got this doxing situation on March 31st. That guy's facing felony charges, by the way. Um, he, uh, he figured out the small city we live in. Couldn't tell you how he figured that out. That was probably from one of those websites you referenced. But he figured it out
Yeah.
in tandem with, oh, he says he lives.
Bro,
That's probably his.
he can't stop
And
himself.
so especially with that, we said, all right, no more. We're done. And I stopped posting with the location tagged. The amount of effort it would have taken to go back through and find every post I made that I tagged the location was insurmountable, so I never bothered. But I stopped doing it. And the reason for that is because it creates a safety concern. So, um, as far as posting, I think there's levels to it, and that's what
Yeah, exactly. I don't know how I figured it out. Literally post everything publicly. It's probably all that information you were just talking about having posted that let him do it.
I'm learning. I'm admitting this completely. Like, I'm still learning it. This is not something I pretend to know. There are levels to it.
And also, dude, it's not just like he's giving these snippets of information out. He is giving like full 3D tours of his home with his phone, fucking filming everything that you can see. Like when you start to do that, it can get very easy to fucking figure out where you are. If you're like showing the layout of your home, people can track it and like look at, dude, people are crazy on the internet. Like you're giving keys to people, exactly.
The worst case scenario is like kind of what you pointed out, and I'm going to try and go find that so that it's not there anymore, because while people can recover stuff on the internet, it makes it a lot harder for the average person to go find it. I know when my two youngest people were born, and I can go find that date on the timeline and go remove that post, because I'm too cheap to pay for X premium, so I can't just go edit it. But but I think that sharing things in my personal life is not necessarily the worst thing. I think it creates a more relatable person. Again, it kind of goes back to the brand versus person.
I mean, you can share stuff about your personal life. You don't have to be a completely, like, oh, I only, like, obviously there's little details and snippets you can share, but it's about removing context that would make it clear to people if they were interested to figure out more deeply what is going on there. And also, it's just like, the parasocial farming element. Oh, I want to make sure I can more effectively parasocially farm my audience. I mean, it's just ridiculous. But also, it's just like, don't go crazy with it. And don't fucking post videos of your family on the internet for people to fucking laugh at, like I did. Yeah, just be vague. Be vague about it. Oh, I took my family to X, Y, and Z thing, or whatever. Like, just to tell a story, a funny story or something. Imagine this being the response to, I know where you live, I know what your house looks like, I know your kid's birthday.
And, you know, when we go through real life things, I think too many streamers are afraid to admit they went through a real life thing, right? Maybe they had a loss in the family. Most people are willing to say we had a death in the family. I'm out for a few days. But for some reason, when it comes to exciting things, we don't want to share it, right? Like, hey, we had a baby. Now, maybe not posting it the day of or with their birth date. Sure, I'm all open for the idea that, you know, legal name. Like, I'm with you there. That was a stupid decision, and I just don't even know that I realized I made it. But legal names, no, probably not. Leave like first name, sure, yeah, first name. A couple days after, later, like, hey, you know, if you within the last week we've had a child. Here's, you know, the picture of the child, and thank you guys for, you know, bearing with me while I get back to a new rhythm. That kind of post I think is appropriate. But there's balance and nuance.
Dude, I probably said stuff which, if I was being super cautious, I wouldn't say. So everyone, you know, all streamers are going to fuck up and make this mistake. But it's to the point now where, you know, I'm looking to go, like, say, on holiday. I won't even say where I'm going. I won't even reveal the place that I'm going to. Maybe that's, like, paranoid. But better to be paranoid and not be fucked with than, you know, not be paranoid and then someone fucks with your flight and calls in a bomb threat or something. Do you know what I mean? It's like, bro, that's just like... So even I would not mention where I'm going to, because it's also like, what does it matter? You know? I'm going away for a bit. See you later. Like, you know, it's like... Some people aren't even, like, being malicious about it. They're just a bit nosy. They're just a bit nosy, and they're like, oh, where are you going? Because they want to know, because they also want to participate in that sort of parasocial aspect of, like, you know... Do you know what I mean? It's like, it's a two-way thing sometimes. But yeah, I mean, it's just like... There's some things you can talk about, keep it vague and, you know, contextually relevant, and try not to say things that, you know, could be twisted to make you sound like a terrible person or some awful things happen. And I don't know, yeah. I just don't understand why it's necessary to reveal so much of yourself. Like, it's okay to have a private life, right? That's totally fine. We all know that going on holiday means loiter at the Tesco down the road. Yes, exactly.
I rarely post with my kids anymore. Even like before, I used to post, especially, I think you referenced my stepson quite a bit.
One.
I only refer to him that way, by the way, when we're in the context of these kinds of conversations. That just helps people identify.
Oh yeah, that's why I did it too. I didn't mean anything by it. Yeah.
No, I know you didn't. No, I know you didn't, and I'm totally cool.
Dude, people post very troubling, like on Facebook and stuff, like way too much stuff about their kids, and you're just like, dude, just calm down. Like, you know, you see posts from, like, because sometimes you forget that who you're friends with. Do you know what I mean? And it's like, you think about it the other way. So you see a picture of, like, someone that you went to schools with kid, and it's like, you're not even, whatever, who cares? But, like, the other way around, they could see that from you too. So it just makes you think, well, I probably don't want them to necessarily see the ins and outs of my life. I've not spoken to them for years. Not that there's anything nefarious they're doing. It's just, why do they need to see this? It's too nosy. Just, like, literally, your family. Send it to your family. You know, like, I'll obviously send a picture of my kids to my mother. And that's fine because, you know, she obviously wants to see her grandkids. That's it. You don't need to put it out onto the fucking internet. And that's on Facebook, bro. That's on Facebook with someone that you actually knew many years ago, let alone the internet and your fucking viewers. Like, what on earth, dude? It's ridiculous.
But yeah, he's just as much my son in my mind as either my other two children or my daughter and son. He's no different to me. But like, he and I have a boys' day every week. We just, and it's shorter. It's not a day now anymore. It's a few hours, but we just him and I. We go out and do something, or maybe we just watch a movie or whatever. And I used to post those, like, just, hey, we're watching a movie or something for fun. And I think those kinds of things, like, I'm still on the fence about, so I've just stopped until I sort that out. Because I think sometimes posting those things is not a bad thing, but is it really positively contributing enough that it's worth the potential negatives? And that's the question I'm still wrestling with.
Okay.
And I think ultimately probably the answer is no.
Yes.
And to be very clear that it's not worth posting.
What are the upsides? Also, like, The other thing I think about it too is, you know, like you go, you know, you have the embarrassing kids photos and stuff like that, right? It used to be that that was something that you might experience like in your family home, you know, taking your girlfriend back and then they bring out the embarrassing photos of you when you're a kid or something like that. That used to be a very personal experience. And now it's on the internet. So how is a kid going to feel? There's some embarrassing photo of them when they were like, you know, whatever years old, that they're maybe not comfortable with being out there, is on the internet and there's nothing they can do about it, and it's been out for years. And it's, you know, you can't do anything about that. Like, it just feels wrong to me that a child might grow up and eventually have to contend with the fact that they've got this terribly embarrassing thing that makes them feel uncomfortable being out on the internet, and there's nothing they can do to stop it, and it's too late, it happened years ago. You know? So I do think that there's an issue of, like, a kid not being able to, like, rationalize or understand or even ask if they want that to happen, you know? So I think at best putting it onto Facebook at least gives it some sort of like ring fencing to some degree. But like putting it out onto the broader internet, I mean, it's just like not on, I think. And I think that you should just be much more considerate of that and recognize that, are you doing this for like the benefit of them, or is it to do some benefit for you? Well, it seems like you're putting your needs above the needs of your kids at that stage then, because you're like, I want to do this for me, but what's the benefit for them? How do they benefit from this ever? Like, they probably just don't ever benefit from that. There's probably never any upside for the kid of them having a picture of themselves, you know, on the internet in the future.
So I haven't, on the erring of the side of caution kind of thing. This is a fair criticism, and I'm very open to receiving it. And I think that that's one that my bride, and again, I reference her a lot.
My
She's
bride.
a wonderful woman. She's been amazing. When she brought up that concern, she rarely brings things up that are a concern unless it's a real concern for her. She doesn't just complain. She's really not the complaining type.
Okay, that's
If she
wonderful.
brings something
But
up,
how
I
do
know
I
she's
make
been chewing
money
on it for a
off
minute, and
depressed
it's really.
A poor Deliveroo customer has been waiting for hours for their food as David's in his car doing this interview on the clock.
Thank you for the super chat. I mean, I don't think he's actually delivering at the moment, is he? I don't know, but okay.
A problem for her. So I shut up and listen. And then when she said to me, like,
I sat my
hey,
white ass down and
I don't know if we
listened.
want to keep posting to kids with your day in the life videos. Okay, let's stop doing that then. End of conversation.
Yeah. And
So-
again, doing the research, I saw the change. At some point, I think it was in the hundreds. Someone could, I guess, go check if
Probably
they really
so.
wanted. But it was sometime early on, again, probably the first like third of it, and then it stopped. And I did notice that.
Yeah, dude, those family channels are like evil. They're horrendous. Like, it's sickening to me that people can monetize. Like, it's wrong. It's wrong to me. I mean, child acting is iffy as it is. You know, I've got some, like, I mean, the thing is, it's got to be heavily regulated. And you've got to have measures in place to make sure that kids aren't put in harm's way. And it's just very difficult to do that when it's like the family doing it on a YouTube channel, I think. One family channel had the 3-year-old drown in a pool this week. God, that sounds horrendous.
But again, I just really wanted to ask about that because
It's a fair question. Yeah.
Because that's probably like one of my biggest positions about like things like that on the internet. But that's obviously just me. You know, it's a criticism that you don't even have to care about because you somewhat disagree a little
it's a
bit.
fair one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, to a lesser extent, I think, than a lot of people think. But yeah, I think that there's, absolutely there's two extremes in my mind. There's, you can post everything and make your content about them. That's wrong. I don't like there's stuff where people will make like a couples channel that have kids and they don't feature their kids, whatever. But the couples channel where they feature their kids constantly, I'm like, are you milking your kids for content right now? Like, this is weird. I don't like this. I mean, it feels gross. And so I get that extreme is wrong. I think that everybody would agree that extreme is wrong. And maybe not, but I would like to think. The other extreme is never posting anything ever about your family and people barely know. There's some gray areas. I don't think there's an objective right or wrong on that. I just think that that's like a more like gray area. And I think now.
Wait, what, dude? You are literally just you are eliminating any risk by not putting your family out at all. Like, there's literally no risk then. There's literally no risk. Huh? How can you be on the fence about that?
So I get that extreme is wrong. I think that everybody would agree that extreme is wrong. And maybe not, but I would like to think. The other extreme is never posting anything ever about your family and people barely know. There's some gray areas. I don't.
What is the grey area? What is the grey area? The literal only downside is that you're not able to farm parasociality over your family connections. So what is the downside of that? And no one gives a fuck that much. It's only people that are going to get suckered into supporting you off the back of, you know, what I don't fucking know. How'd you get a baby shower gift list fulfilled if you don't stream it, Chud? Chud, only get the gifts if you don't post it. Yes, true.
I think there's an objective right or wrong on that. I just think that that's like a more like gray area. And I think now, whereas before, if you have this kind of spectrum, if you will, and I was more on the let's post everything. I wasn't all the way there, but I was more toward.
Yes, crappy post. This is so true. Social media has created a toxic mindset where you have to show everyone you have a wonderful life instead of actually enjoying it. There's literally a Black Mirror episode about this exact concept. So what is it called? Swan Dive or something? Where that woman has got like is trying to up her social media score and she fucks it all up because of her desperation to do so.
And in the middle. I'm now much more if this is center and this is the other extreme, I'm much closer to that other extreme where it's like, let's post next to nothing. But
Okay.
yeah, like, hey, I'm having
Okay. He's saying that, that's good. Maybe
a
I
birthday
misunderstood.
party for the kid and the next day kind of thing. Like, I don't know that I've ever posted on the birthday of my kids' birthdays because I try to be off my freaking phone during their birthdays. I really do. That's a big thing for me. Like when or even just like during boys' time with my son, like and he points it out. Where's your phone? Well, it's in our room. I don't need it right now. I'm hanging out with you. And you're more important to me than anything going on my phone right now. It does not matter. And that means something to them. I won't say his age. He's old enough now to recognize, right? That when my phone isn't in my hand, that he has my undivided attention. And that means something. So to that end, that I think is kind of where I lie on that. So I'll stop ranting about it now, though.
Right. Yeah, thank you for answering. Again, one of my pillars of criticism. And I guess the final one that we can discuss here is myself and many others believe that you frequently responding to what seems to be obvious trolls and detractors are fanning the flames and actually creating an environment where they continue to lie, spread rumors, cut things out of context,
Yes.
and overall just jab at you because they know it will get a response.
Yes.
Do you think that this is true?
No. Because
Okay.
there's more to it than that.
Okay. Yeah, bro. I responded to some random retard troll saying you were going to molest a 13-year-old. Great idea. Keep doing that.
Is the statement itself true that they're going to get more fuel for their flame? Sure. But the reality is anybody who's following them and listening to them are just as much losers as they are for posting it. Flat out. And I stand on that. If people want to post and take things out of context and
Dude, the
remove
thing
clips,
is, I hate this idea and this hand waving away that these people that like follow these trolls and stuff are losers. He's talking about you, by the way. I will defend you because no, some people want to, you know, go home from their work and they want to have a laugh at someone on the internet. They want to just watch a troll clip of someone and something like that. And there's nothing wrong with that. They're blowing off steam in a way that they feel comfortable with and enjoy. There's literally nothing wrong with that. I hate this idea that, oh, they're just losers. No, they're laughing at you. They're laughing at you because it's funny and it's entertaining for them. I'm sorry, but filming a vertical video of yourself saying, I never groomed a little boy is actually a bigger loss than being a troll. Exactly. He's doing this sort of coat that they're losers, where it's like, bro, you're the one that has got these absurd responses to obvious troll criticisms that are being made of you.
clips and make new content from it. I've seen a lot of that lately. They have no life. If they can be on the internet for that length of time and build a following from it, the followers that follow that kind of crap, they don't have much of a better quality of life either. These are people who are miserably depressed, and I'm not speaking down to them here. This is just an objective statement.
Dude, this idea that you can objectively claim what someone that watches a troll TikTok, what their life is like, is absurd. Dude, it's obscene. Dude, many people that follow this and laugh at this, They are just fucking normies. Think of that scrim team that we had on that play video games. They work normal jobs. They're just normies. And they have a little giggle at some of the stuff trolling this guy.
They aren't happy with their lives. David Goggins put it very well when he said, "You will never be shit on by anybody who is doing better than you." So when people are constantly trying to drag me through
That's just not... That's... Wait, that's just... That's total cope. Yes, you will. All the time. What are you on about?
the mud, especially when it's out of context. I understand the in context stuff, things that I've
Okay,
addressed,
that's wonderful.
and
But
we'll
how do
get
I make
to
money
the other
off
part
of
of this
people?
answer in a
Listen to this guy say that when he had a good cry in the closet because he can't handle door dashing.
Thank you very much for the super chat. Thank you. Dude, there's people in this chat that are railing on this guy that are going to be doing better than him.
minute that will help as well. But I do not, as people who want to, take a couple of clips and combine them and make it look like something that it's absolutely not, I'm never going to be able to stop that. So the reason that I do this, and this is the other part of the answer and why I was so clear on the emphatic no, this is not just that negative. I think I've made 3 long form videos at this point on YouTube, and I know I've made a handful on vertical platforms as well. And you are right, by the way. I think you referenced earlier that I probably post the same things on YouTube. I actually post the same video to Instagram Reels, TikTok, and YouTube Shorts, just like most other creators. Like, that's pretty normal stuff. When I was writing my scripts and stuff and doing the day X, which is what I always called the journey videos, I actually wrote some. There were some that I wrote a shorter script for YouTube and Instagram because they performed better. Same story, shorter script. TikTok needs a.
Wait, what is this? About Gamin4Hope. Today's your review of his content can only be described as pure unhinged bullying. Chud has been trying very hard to make this guy lolcow. For anyone that is a regular person, is nothing but embarrassing to see. This is a regular guy that is trying his best at content creator. You can't just bully him because he's not the best at playing the game and doesn't know how to deal with terminal online build perfectly. He's a regular guy with a loving family that still has a regular job and has a hobby. And yeah, he's 28 and loves Overwatch, but what's so of you at 28, Nick? He has a fucking family. And you have a pinball collector. Oh, he's got you there, Big Nick. He's got you there, mate. Sat there in your basement with your fucking gay pinball machines. Get raped, bro. You know how many people would see you as the loser in that comparison? You and Chud review of this guy's content has been nothing but disgusting. I don't know why you both become so irrational when you see this guy. With all the crazy lolcows you have to deal with, did you forget how to differentiate a normal guy from everyone else? I mean, dude, it's just... The thing is, I don't think you can force someone into being like a lolcow, right? I don't think that's possible. This is someone that sent Nicholas an email complaining about the coverage of him. Like, it's about what your actions and behavior is, and it's about other people assessing what your behavior is. And I think that if you respond to troll comments that you're going to meet a 13-year-old, right? The idea there is that you are prompted to do something outrageous and ridiculous and comedic and funny that's worthy of mockery off the back of very mild prodding. Right? That's it. It's not about ethics and log. This, the ethics of this. It's not about the ethics, is it? Shelby, you annoying wretch. Okay? It's not about forcing anyone to be anything. It's about talking about and assessing someone. And the thing is, I'm not even trying to prompt him to be a lolcow. Apparently he doesn't watch me. Fine. I'm just talking about the things that are happening and laughing at what's going on. So it just, and the thing is, it's like, I just really, it really irritates me when people try and act like you're a loser because you want to just let off steam being a dickhead on the internet at the weekend. Like, so, yeah, those people want to do that. They did different formats. They want to fucking talk shit in a video game, or they want to laugh at some loser on the internet who's been doing stupid stuff with their life. Like, I don't know, dude. I don't think it makes you a loser. You're probably just like finding a way to entertain yourself. There's some people that sit there and watch soap operas and the toings and froings of fictional characters. I don't think that makes them a loser. That's just a way of entertaining themselves. So I just really, you know, it bothers me that what is just fairly standard behavior of someone just trying to entertain themselves is framed as them being a loser because it just so happens that you're the target of that, you know?
Okay, that's wonderful. But how do I make money off depressed people?
Hey!
Satan Semantics became a member.
Trippy loves you. Thank you for the 5 gifted. That's super generous. Thank you for that.
Longer than 60-second video to be monetized.
No, bro. Okay, Kevin. Another irritant today. Don't let this man discourage you, chatters. You're not losers. Please stay here and watch me. It's not just about watching me. He's talking about people that post like troll clips and people watch that. You know, people that watch, you know, TikTok and scroll past a video, this guy getting mocked for being shit at Overwatch and them laughing at it. No, you're just entertaining yourself. It's totally fine.
The other two platforms don't. So I made a shorter content piece because they did better shorter and they made no difference in the revenue. So clearly people wanted that and that made sense. So besides that, it's all the same content. The long form ones, because I know I've made 2 that have basically the same thumbnail. It's modified ever so slightly. And the most recent one that most people are at this point familiar with if they're watching this video. The reason I do those
What? What happened there?
because they performed better. Same story, shorter script. TikTok needs a longer than 60-second video to be.
I think there's a problem with YouTube where you've got some sort of memory bleed thing or something. It happens with the back end page, where if you try and use it now, it like goes all fucked up or something. Maybe, I don't know. But yeah, I don't know. I just think there's some sort of problem. I don't know. Often there's problems when that's not like it fucking goes through something happens. Something happens to it. I don't know.
Be monetized. The other 2 platforms don't. So I made a shorter content piece because they did better shorter and they made no difference in the revenue. So clearly people wanted that and that made sense. So besides that, it's all the same content.
The booger.
The long form ones, because I know I've made 2 that have basically the same thumbnail. It's modified ever so slightly. And the most recent one that most people are.
Oh, sorry, it got muted because I muted all the things, but I'll replay it. Thank you for the $5, Silent but Deadly.
Okay, that's wonderful. But how do I make money
boogers.
off depressed people?
Village idiots have existed for centuries. He fills the role well.
Yes, exactly. Are you a loser for laughing at the village idiot?
At this point familiar with if they're watching this video. The reason I do those is very clear in my mind. I know that when I make those videos, there's still going to be people who aren't.
Yes, I'm going to do the DV response tomorrow. Might even turn it into a proper segment. But yeah, I will, because it was quite long as well, I think. He's written some screed about the thing that dropped earlier. It's just so funny that, like, he obviously was trying to sweep it under the rug. And now he's done this massive fucking screed about it.
Satisfied. Like, even with the most recent one, people were like, well, you didn't touch on your political tweets. No, because someone called me on my political tweeting on my...
One of Dark Viper's viewers criticised Dark Viper because they'd taken a clip of theirs and used it without consent and basically just done like the equivalent of like a very short commentary, like short on it. And obviously, people, he was like, well, hang on a sec, I thought you had a problem with the React content. You've basically done what's tantamount to a React video. And now he's done a massive response to it, apparently.
On my Gamin4Hope profile, and I removed those tweets. Because me retweeting a political comedy bit or something that was funny, people got offended by it, and they don't tune into me for political crap. So I don't post it. That was a learning moment.
Yes, okay, that's good. That is a good thing to learn. Yes, exactly. Yes, correct. Just don't fucking post your political shit because no one cares about it. They want to watch your Overwatch gameplay.
Learned from it. We removed the posts. We move on with our lives, right? So I didn't even acknowledge those. And people who kept feeding into that, I just hid them from the channel, which I also got criticism for. But it's just a circular thing at that point. My point is, you're never going to please everybody. But the loudest people are often the minority in every situation. And that's all sides of any argument. This isn't a one-sided issue. When things go sideways, I won't use any specific examples because again, the whole point is to avoid triggering people. But when any side, you know what? No, I'm going to pick on Republicans because people have just pegged me as a Republican, which is wild. But
good call,
people will
actually.
peg me that way.
Good call.
And there were
Good call.
Republican issues. There were things that Republicans did that I'm like, what are we doing? What? Why are we doing that? But they were the loudest, so they got the most attention, right? I believe this is not just true of this conversation, but in most.
Yes, it was pegged.
We're going to use that spectrum conversation again, right? I love the visuals. I'm big on visuals.
Yeah, also, I mean, obviously people are making simplistic political analysis on the basis of their understanding of, like, the dichotomy of the American political system. So they're probably going to peg you as a Republican, right? Which is probably fairly reasonable on the basis that you're seemingly like a conservative Christian and you're likely to fall in that camp on that basis. You know, often people would have to say, if they're like a conservative Christian, oh no, but I'm a Democrat though, despite my personal views, because it was so, normally you would naturally fall into that political camp.
You have 100% of people represented between my two hands. And on each extreme, there's about 5 to 10% that are the loudest. If we say it's 10%, the maximum, which I truly believe is the maximum, it's probably closer to that 5, but let's say it's 10. That means that you take 20% from 100, and quick math says that's 80% of people remaining in the middle. And some of them may lean more one direction or the other, or they may be pretty dead center. And I would say the majority of people are going to be dead center of most arguments. Those were the people that I made those videos for, because those people don't comment, they don't publicly chat, they don't really do anything except just kind of watch. It's kind of creepy when you think about it. They don't ever say anything, they're just watching you. But really, they've got stuff going on. Maybe they're working while they've got you on. Maybe they've got other stuff going on. So those folks see the influx of all of the crap posted on social media and they go, well, I've only watched a handful of his pieces of content. I've never watched his live streams or anything, but maybe they're right. Maybe he is. I mean, there's been so many YouTube controversies that have turned out to be true. It's horrible. So in light of all of those things piling up against me, as they pile up and as I see them more commonly in my comments and in my chat on live streams, I address them in a video, mostly as a resource for me. So that when they come up, if there is someone who is truly asking the question, I can link to them, the timestamp in the video, and say, I answered it here. Please feel free.
Okay, but the problem is like you're overestimating how serious some of these criticisms are. Like the Nazi, it is such a common meme that you get photographed doing a certain like thing like this. I'm just adjusting the camera, guys. I'm adjusting the camera, guys. And it's like, it gets taken and spun out as you're doing a Nazi salute as a comedic bit, but you've taken it seriously. And it's what makes it so funny that you're responding to it and you flash up that image where it does look very much like you're doing a Nazi salute. And then you're like, oh, it's the wrong arm though. It's actually the left arm, not the right arm. And, you know, it's like very funny the way you respond to it and talk about it. So it's like you are showing, I mean, if it's a one-off and you're not going to do it again, maybe it's not a problem going forward. But like, obviously it is something that's going to get used to kind of, you know, maybe try and prod you further to see what other milk could be squeezed out of your udders.
Okay, that's wonderful. But how do I make money off depressed people?
He's just a fan of Nazi symbolism, Chud. He's definitely not a real Nazi.
Thank you for the super chat. Yeah, also, the other thing too, the idea that you know, like, the right arm to salute with. I mean, I don't think that I've heard Nazis explain the right arm to salute with, right? It's like a level of detail that is unnecessary, and it makes it look like you know more about it. Not that I think he's a Nazi, but it will just all get twisted against you, you know? But anyway, come on, we're nearly done with this. We're nearly finished with this. Dude, this has been great. This is like, I don't think there's going to be much more Gaming for Hope stuff, to be honest. It's kind of like the end of the chapter for me, I think. Much like the Pirate Software stuff. Because I can't imagine what else is going to happen. Like, I can't, you know, it's difficult for me to justify just sitting there watching him play Overwatch. I've done a couple of times. But this is like a good little end for it, I think. Like an epilogue to the whole thing. But yeah. We need the next
Free
big
to go
drama.
watch if you're curious about the answer. I post it publicly instead of just as an unlisted video to literally use as a resource, because there are people who will never ask. But if the video is available for them to go find out, they'll go find out, and they'll never say a word. The silent majority is who I make those videos for.
The silent majority.
It is not
bro.
the fringe 5 to 10% who either agree with me completely, perceivably, or completely disagree with me. It is for the remaining majority in the middle that I make those videos, and I stand by making.
Right. And I guess...
Yeah, honestly, Gag has just totally, he has turned this guy out to the point where all the kind of key criticism are being hit. And I think he's really... Dude, Gag is actually... Come on, guys. Come on, we do better than that. He's at 400 subs. Come on. Come on, guys. We're gaggers here. We're gaggers.
How do you plan on engaging with those people moving forward? That very loud minority.
When that very loud minority becomes so loud that I need to address it, I'll address it like I have. Making a video.
If enough of you bring forward some obscene, ridiculous allegation, I will respond to it. I mean, dude, he's like giving the game away here. He's letting people know how to engage with him in a way that might make him respond in like some ridiculous way. Thanks for letting us know, mate. I'll be noting that down.
But I don't intend for my content to become all that. So if it becomes so much that because I post maybe one long form a week now, and I no longer script any of my verticals. They're all stream clips because I've run out of time to write scripts and stuff with my 9 to 5. If it becomes a thing where I have to post one a month, which I doubt, because they're eventually going to run out of crap to talk about. I mean, seriously, there's only so many things that are so controversial everybody would hate me for it. If it continues and I start to get to a place where it's too frequent, I think there's a point where you have to just go, well, they are who they are, and you move on. But if you look at those 3 videos, the frequency is only increased in the last, I would say, I've probably posted all 3 of those videos in the last year, which means it's been once, if you average it, I'm sure it's not literally this, but if you average that, that's once every 4 months. And to me, when you post essentially in 4 months on my current pace, I would have posted 16 videos. 1 out of 16 videos may seem frequent in a lot of ways. But when it helps me on my live streams, when people are like, oh my gosh, I heard excellent thing about you. I'm like, yeah, and I addressed it in this video. If you want to go watch it, here's a specific timestamp so you don't have to watch the whole thing. You can just get your question answered. I have had people come back, excuse me, during my live streams and said, hey, I went and watched that. You were absolutely right. That answered all my questions. I appreciate it. And then they sub to the channel. Or then they follow.
Bro, it's just so funny the way, me doing this thing, which makes me look like a total retard, gets a couple of people watching it and subscribing, so I'm basically a winner. Like, you should not be reliant on people going and watching your retarded video where you address rumors that you groomed your wife for subs. It should just be about your content doing that in and of itself, right?
Follow my stream. And those people are, I'm so serious, that's how I will continue to address it, because the majority of people appreciate the transparency. And yes, I know that
total retard, fucking worthless idiots fucking appreciate the transparency, man. It's like people that are way too fucking, what's the word? They're too... People, they're just like him. They're just like him. They're not irony, they're like the opposite of irony poison. They're too real. They're too real. They're too honest. If that makes sense. Naive. Yeah, exactly. Soft. I don't know. Something like that.
There is a negative that comes with posting those two.
Yes, midwit normies. I'm not. You know, I think this normies are fine. Obviously, it's like midwit normies. Exactly. Midwit normies. That's a great way of putting it.
Aware of it. I'm so aware of it. But I believe personally the positives outweigh the negatives by a landslide.
I have one final question. In 2023, you asked your audience for financial help and even showed screenshots and thanked people for supporting you and your wife fighting a custody dispute that was filed by your stepson's biological father. In the content surrounding it, you made claims that he wasn't particularly fit to be in your stepson's life, and that it was actually the biological father who broke the unofficial custody contract first, which then led to the dispute. My question is, do you think it's appropriate to air out your stepson's biological father's dirty laundry like that, even if it is true?
Bro, you think it's done? Gag's got one more in the tank. He's got one more in the tank for you guys. Bro, that is an insane question. I didn't even fucking think of something like that. That is an app. Yeah, I watched that and I didn't even think of that angle of it. That is actually a really good question. Yeah. Totally reason. Like, you know. It's obviously totally like, dude. You do not, like, this is actually a really good point. These people are, like, completely unrelated to you and your content. And you're, like, bringing up their shit on stream. To Ebgging as well, no less. Like, that's fucked up, really, isn't it? Like, they're not, you know, you're not necessarily, well, you are allowing them to be identified with the amount of information you're posting. But they should not be, like, scrutinized or looked at because they're like a private individual not engaging with this. Even if they're a total fucking shitter that's doing something wrong. It's, like, not your lookout to put them on blast like that.
No, absolutely not. This is an error in judgment that I made during that time that I still regret to this day.
There we go. He's got him.
And I will tell you flat out, I have taken accountability for that with him. He and I are good now. We had a direct conversation about it. It was actually fairly recent. I won't go into that too much, but I will say that we had a very specific conversation about that where he called me on it and I said, you know what? You're absolutely right. Regardless of me being right or wrong, it wasn't okay to post it. I apologize for that. I don't know how to go back and kill it all, but if you find something you want me to remove from the internet, you let me know.
Bro, gagged once again.
He has not said to remove anything yet. But the moment he says, hey, I found this, you know, even if it's a live stream bot, I found this live stream bot, and that just gets deleted, it's nuked, it's gone. It's not a hesitation for me. The thing I will say is during that time, I was hurt and angry. That doesn't justify my behavior. I'm not trying to justify it. It's by no means. It was not okay. I am saying that out of my hurt and out of my anger, those things came out. Again, not appropriate. But that
well, I mean, obviously it's difficult because, I mean, I don't know, maybe he's bullshitting here, but, I mean, assuming that he did do this, yeah, that's obviously good to do because that is actually, when thinking about it, unreasonable to put this guy on blast on your public platform. Again, one that you haven't built to litigate the personal issues of your wife's ex. You've built to entertain your audience with your content, you know? So.
Where it came from. And yeah, I still regret it heavily to this day because it took an insurmountable amount of time to repair that damage. Rightfully so. I screwed.
Yeah, guys, should sort of criticism. Maybe at the end of the watch, you can go down some points to help him out. I mean, it would be it's nitpicking, really. There was some points earlier on where I felt like I mean, I didn't even mention it because it seemed like nitpicking when the rest of it was so good. But I did feel like there's a point at which he sort of asked a question and then continued to talk. Like sometimes you just ask the question and let them answer, but I don't know, dude. Like it was good. I don't know. What can you say? It was actually, you know, I don't think there's really much here that I could say. I don't know. Like it was handled very well. I mean, dude, he like nailed him on like 3 different points. I don't know, dude. He fucking nailed this guy.
Screwed up, but it's something that I regret deeply. Not raising the money for it. We did find a lawyer. I think that was appropriate.
I'm gagged right now.
both parties agree that the custody proceedings and in court paperwork situation that was needed because we had an unofficial
Oh
document at the
yeah,
time. Having an official,
dude, I forgot, dude. Bro, I totally forgot I responded to... Dude, I literally saw this, and I responded to it, and I didn't actually think much of it, to be honest. Because I just thought it'd be funny to just comment on this. Let them know that... Let them know that I know it exists. But yeah. Dude, that's funny. No, dude, it's difficult because it is such a good interview. It does just feel like nitpicking. It's literally just that one comment there. Oh, I guess a bit of nervous laughter. Rein in the nervous laughter. Something like that, I don't know. But this is just nitpicking. It's just nitpicking. It was a great, very high quality, well done interview that even pushed him on a couple of points and I think nailed him on a couple of points.
official thing that we have to adhere to by a court of law.
And you guys were just calling him fat at the start, see? I told you to give it a chance. Told you to give it a chance.
Was the best thing for all of us so that emotions aside, we follow that, right? So it was, the financial thing was a true need at the time, raising the money for it and all that stuff. That was all so genuine. And the people that reached out that sent the money for that, they all received a receipt. And if you're, if you happen to be watching this and you're like, I didn't receive a receipt, ask. Like, hey, I sent you money. I didn't see that. I'll send you the receipt for the lawyer today. And now am I going to post it online? No. But I'm happy to. For those that sent money, because I'm big on accountability, they absolutely are owed the hey, here's the receipt for it. Thank you for your help. But none of them asked because they all trusted that was what I was doing with it. And yeah, so no, to answer your question very directly, gosh, no, it's one of my deepest regrets of abusing my platform to air that out. It was so stupid. And
okay, I mean, look, I know that we're taking his word for it and stuff. I mean, as long as he doesn't do something like this again, I mean, I think that's fair. Fair's fair. I mean, it's obviously... I mean, it's obviously wrong. Can't really change it now. And if he's saying he's not going to do something, fair enough. But I mean, yeah, it is absolutely abusing your platform to air out your dirty laundry with your wife's ex. It was not even a public figure.
Yeah, the moment that he points to a piece of content that I need to remove, it's gone. It will never exist on the internet again.
Okay. With that, those are all the questions I have. Do you have any for me, or do you have any final closing thoughts that you want to give?
I think this is my final closing thought because it's the most important thing to me out of all of this. Every single thing that Gag here has asked me and we've talked about, I want you guys to notice that he asked. It's that simple. Having a dialogue and having a conversation about anything that you disagree with people on is such a big deal. And by the way, this doesn't even just go for content creators. This is a life thing. Some of your friends, maybe they hurt you in some way. If you never tell them, if you never talk to them about it, and you build up bitterness, I've heard it said that bitterness is the poison that you consume, expecting someone else to die. And
that's my channel.
The only person you are hurting by assuming negative things about other people is you. Those other people probably don't even know you think about it. For me as a creator, it's a little different because people post about it and I find out. Sometimes, though, I don't even worry about it. Most of the time, I don't even worry about it. It's just kind of like, all right, they think what they think. I don't care. But it's just hurting you. It's negative thoughts polluting your mind. And it all could have been avoided with a simple conversation. And I cannot stress enough how much a conversation can go a long way to solving whatever problem you have with somebody. That's my piece. That's what I got.
All right. Thank you so much. I just want to say thank you again for coming on. I appreciate it. This has been illuminating for me, and I'm sure it's been illuminating for plenty of other people. Obviously, I'll include your socials in the description, things of that nature.
Sure.
Big thank you.
Okay, guys, I will link, because I'm going to be ending stream shortly anyway. So if you want more content to watch,
what's up, gaggers? Today
this video is not. I mean, I'm kind of. I think I'm done. I think that's a good tail end of the Gamin4Hope. Go and watch this video if you want more Gamin4Hope shit. Okay.